Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. We have a new individual for us to check out today. His name is Rehab Room. Uh, I decided to get to know him by checking out his opinion on Undead Chronic. Undead Chronic recently went after, not recently, but a couple years ago went after Wheat Waffles for abandoning the black pill, I think. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to see what this guy has to offer. I think he's black pill. I'm always curious what flavor, because it's kind of annoying, because no matter what pill or what ideology somebody has, they're always going to have a different version than what's normative. And if you like just assume the default of the black pill or the red pill, or being Christian, then so they're like, no, I'm not like that. I'm not like those other guys. I'm different. And everybody says that. Everyone has a different definition for these pills. So we'll have to learn specifically what flavor of black pill Rehab Room is. But let's get into it.
A viewer recently asked me this. Have you ever thought of allowing Chronic to interview you? I would love to hear you debunk his RPBS. He and Ruby say that ugly guys can get way above girls, way above their looks level. Stuff like just go to the gym, etc. They hate the BP, but I am not sure why. Your thoughts? By the way, I am a 5'6" white fellow.
Well, I think Chronic says this because Chronic is not particularly genetically facially attractive, yet he gets women. And yeah, that's possible. It's definitely possible if you max out other areas like your height or your social skills, or your credentials, maybe your status, maybe flex some elite level knowledge. So it's not that the black pill isn't true. It's just that the formula for success is not reducible just to your looks or your face, specifically your face. Because Chronic's in good shape, yeah. And I don't think Chronic would just say that if you go to the gym, then you're guaranteed to get women. So that's a straw man. Chronic wouldn't say that. That's like important. But just going to the gym, because yeah, if you're like a 5'2" Indian and you go to the gym, yeah, you're not going to work. But if you're like a 6'2" guy, white, bit of a Neanderthal build, then yeah, that's gonna work. Like that's gonna have a lot more success going to the gym and getting women than being a 5'2" Indian. So I think this is kind of a straw man. I don't think Chronic would say that.
Not bad looking at all, but I agree with your message. I had also other people telling me, oh, you gotta watch this, Undead is ripping on wheat waffles. It is time I talked about them, both of them. I will talk about Undead Chronic first, what he has to say about wheat and the BP, and if I have enough time, wheat waffles in the second part. If not, I will have to leave my opinions on him for a different video.
If I had to say what my position on the black pill is my understanding is that a lot of the black pill takes another step from the red pill and says, so first, red pill kind of establishes a more accurate system of how women operate, how male female dynamics actually work, how dynamics between men and women, dating, how to get women, what women respond to, how it actually works. That's kind of destroying the naive blank slate kind of equality that the blue pill posits, and replacing it with a more honest, perhaps brutal, but more honest and therefore pragmatic system, which men can then operate from once they have the truth. And then the black pill basically says, okay, most of the things that women pursue are genetically determined. And if they're genetically determined, if this formula is mostly genetically determined, then it's outside of your control. Which I would say I half agree with. I think that if you exist, I think like the reason it's not completely true is because I would say that when they use examples, they point to like 5'2" men. They point to like extreme, like, yeah, I'm a 5'4" chud in my basement with a balding hairline at the age of 26. It's like, yeah, you're kind of screwed. and from that sense, I would kind of agree that yeah, like there is going to be a subsection of men who, because of the modern hypergamous system, where women are very picky and they can choose who they want, and things like profession and a skill or stability, ability to provide and work, virtue, they're not prioritizing virtue anymore because it's superficial and the red pill is true. That means there is going to be a genetic uh, subsection of men who are just kind of screwed. So I would agree. However, I would say that like I would say the group of men who are just screwed to genetics are actually kind of low. Like I don't think it's game over forever just because you're a 5'6" white guy. I think yeah, you can work with that. You can actually build muscle pretty easily if you're shorter. You're white, so you have an advantage there. Maybe you don't look like total trash. There is work you can do, and um, a lot of guys who think that they're cooked, that they're not actually like totally cooked. They're just I don't know, maybe they just have a low self esteem, or they live in a headspace, a mental space where they think they're lower than they actually are. If you're like a 5'9" white guy, it's not game over for you. Like you're like, oh, I'll never find a woman. I'm screwed. It's like no, like you're fine. But if you're like a 5'2" Indian in a white country where white women are gonna want to date white guys, uh, and they're a lot taller than 5'2", then yeah, you're kind of screwed. So I think what I don't like about the black pill is the tendency towards doom and gloom, which I think tempts them into placing themselves into a lower position than they might actually be. Now I don't know, like maybe there's some like really chopped people. Like maybe these guys are like really chopped, and if it's like that's the case, it's like I can't disagree with you, right? Like if some of these people are like super chopped and they're like they have no good features and they just look like a cave goblin, then yeah, like hypergamy is true, and women aren't going to choose you, and you can't use the gym to like really just fix your face, right? So, um, yeah, I'm not going to lie and say that if you're like super ugly, that you if you just try hard enough, you can find a woman. Oh, just keep going, and women like personality. No, like the solution isn't lie and say the blue pill is true, but I think maybe my only source of disagreement might be that I think men place themselves into, or men have because of their low self-esteem, they assume that they're in a lower status than they might actually be. They might assume that they're cooked, that they're gone, that there's nothing they can do. Perhaps a bit too early. In my opinion, if you're a 5'6" white guy, you should not be taking the black pill. If you're a 5' like 2" Indian, then yeah, you can take the black pill. But I had a friend who was 5'6" is it's not tall, but it's not. I don't know. I just think there's a danger to giving up or assuming that it's game over too early. Like 5'6", yeah, you might be cooked depending on how chopped you are, but you might not, and it would be unfortunate to give up on the opportunity that you might not be cooked simply because you've already committed to a mindset where you're cooked, right? That's what I would say. And I think that's true. I think that mindset might be true all around the board. Is the black pill might be true, but you should always, maybe not always, but let me think. Let me think. Yeah, no, I kind of, I don't know. I don't think it's worth. I don't like the attitude. I think if I had to say, I don't like the attitude. I think if I was a 5'6" white guy, I wouldn't bother being black pilled. I would just get a hobby. I would live alone. I would kind of live by myself. I would do a lot of reading. I wouldn't. I would try to reorient and restructure my life in a more MGTOW kind of way where I'm just not thinking about women. That game, I've lost that game. I'm not going to be able to win that game realistically. And I'm not, I think the black pill is right that there's no point just investing all this time asking hundreds of women out because you're just humiliating yourself. One, 2, you're blowing up the ego of these women. 3, you're just going to traumatize yourself with all these rejections, and you're just going to get bitter and depressed. And it's also not realistic. You're spending time, resources, throwing yourself at women. And if you are chopped and kind of cooked, then it's not going to work, right? And I heard Andrew Wilson say something dumb. He said something like, well, ugly men just need to marry ugly women. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. Stop pursuing models if you're ugly. It's like, well, the black pill men aren't doing that. They're not running around pursuing models. They're just trying to get a date with somebody. It's the women who have these extremely high expectations. It's the chopped 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10 women with the biggest ego who think they deserve the 9, with the biggest indignation and entitlement, right? So I don't think I don't think that's a solution either, because the problem is ultimately women and what they've done with their sexual selection. So I think the better approach is, don't waste your time wallowing in the black pill and, oh, women this and women that. It's like, yeah, like this is a losing game. But also, can we also not admit that the modern dating scene is stupid and fake and gay anyway? Right? Like, if you're losing at dating and you're like, oh, I can't get a woman to have casual sex with me and I can't flirt with women, well, women are whores, right? Women are whores for like 6 foot plus guys. You're not going to start a marriage, or these women are not marriage material. They're not virgins. They're not pure women. They're not women you should even really be wasting your time with anyway, even if you're successful at the game, right? So it's not sour grapes. It's just more like, even the guys who are winning at the dating game, like Chronic, would admit that there's kind of nothing, there's no wife material women out on Tinder, out in the dating market. So the game is kind of a pointless game anyway, unless you're just looking to pursue a hookup or validation. But those things aren't really valuable, are they? Shouldn't you be pursuing like a career? Shouldn't you be pursuing something more meaningful, something like your life's work? Shouldn't you be pursuing something more substantial and worthy? If the dating game is twisted and broken and messed up, doesn't that mean that you should probably disengage from that kind of a system? Right? So you're actually, it's almost like a blessing in disguise. I know it sounds really cringe, but the the attractive men, or the men who think they have a chance, are going to invest themselves into the system which produces nothing. Its fruits are nothing. Wasted years, parties, sex, hookups, mistakes, a broken pair bonding ability, a damaged soul, right? So, I mean, the black pill might be just like an opportunity to really be like, okay, like now that I am not, you know, I'm not blinded or I'm not obfuscated by false hopes, I can actually have a more grounded position on the dating system as a whole, and I can disengage, right? So I think that's definitely an option. You don't need to get married. Like, there's nothing in the Bible and there's nothing about reality that says you have to. Like, there's definitely social pressure, but if you disillusion yourself with uh, the social system in general, and you don't just cave to whatever people expect you to do or want you to do, uh, then you don't really need to get married. Like, there were plenty of men, great men throughout history, who did things, invented things, built civilizations, great theologians, great intellectuals who did things. They weren't prioritizing women. So this whole like, get a girlfriend, you're a loser, you don't have a girlfriend. Another reason I don't like the black pill is because they kind of submit and they become depressed and cave to the cultural expectations. And I think for me as a Christian, it's kind of like, I don't care anyway, because like the system of men and women is going to be fucked and unjust and perverted, and it produces no fruits, and it's not even marriage material anyway. And there's tons of valuable things you can do to bring glory to God, or to produce real meaning in your life, like something of value, not just pursuing dates with women. Like, what the fuck are you doing actually? Like, you're sitting there whining and complaining that you can't get a date with a woman. You want to sit there and like hold hands with a woman in a restaurant. Like, it's just kind of gay. You know what I mean? I hate to say that, but it's kind of true though. It's kind of gay. It's kind of like, okay, that's really what you're up late at night, like sopping and moping about. It's kind of lame, right? So uh, I don't disrespect a man for not pursuing women. I don't disrespect a man for not even appealing to women, because I think what women value is vain and stupid anyway. So there's plenty of smart, grounded, reasonable men, but because they're not 6 foot tall, they're not dating women. I don't think of them as any lesser just because they're not slaying pussy. And there's tons of guys who do slay pussy who are just useless. They have no skills. They're social weasels, but they know literally nothing else. And they're just kind of trash human beings. So I think the black pill should take its period of abstinence as a time to reevaluate its its own meaning and its own understanding of this external system of dating, and recognize, okay, this is trash, right? This is not a valuable system. I am an outsider, and I can use that outsider position as an opportunity to say, okay, this system is trash. This is no good. So it's not that the black pill isn't necessarily true that hypergamy produces hypergamy combined with genetic determinism produces a subset of men who are determined somewhat, highly determined, maybe not purely determined like Calvinistically, but just determined in a general sense. Statistically, by and large, they're determined to lose at the dating game. I don't disagree with that, but I just think the attitude of being black pill and kind of whining and complaining and moping and lamenting, and it's not very fruitful, right? Like, on one level I get it. It sucks. It's like, yeah, we have a biological urge to reproduce and procreate, but I get that. But I just think, like, you need to move past this kind of like butthurtness, or this lamenting of the modern dating system anyway, because I think it's all worse for wear. It's worldly. It's a fallen system of man. It's faulty. It's unjust. It's stupid. So yeah, that's probably my fleshing out of my position on the black pill. I also just don't really respect the attitude as a man. Anyone who spends their time or constructs an ideology of defeat, oh, I'm part of the defeated, oppressed class. No. Like, that can be something you acknowledge, but there has to be like a positive, okay, what's next? Like, okay, what am I going to do about that? Right? Like, it's okay to be like, I exist in a feminist system, and the feminist system is oppressing men. It hates white men. It hates Christian masculine men. Yes, that's all true. Patriarchal men, right? It hates all these things, but okay, what are you going to do about it? You can't just construct your ideology around being a victim. You can acknowledge that as, they're trying to victimize me, they're trying to do X to me and my group and my people, but I'm gonna do X in response, right? So MGTOW I like, because MGTOW says women are trash, disengage from the system, pursue my own life. Yes, that's good. What does Red Pill say? Okay, dating is hard, women are hypergamistic, I'm gonna self-improve, or I'm going to, learn the game, and I'm going to, even pickup artists are more respectable than black pill, as much as I despise pickup artists. They at least say, I'm going to try my best to I don't know, get all these cold approaches and get all these dates and build up a roster. Like, at least they have an ambition that they're pursuing towards. But what does the black pill do? It just kind of hangs out on 4chan and in message boards online, and I hate message boards online. Like, so stupid. Yeah, so I think from a man-to-man kind of point of view, an ideology can't stop at just being a victim. It needs to then twist it into something something of a positive vision, a direction forward, some kind of path forward, and maybe I would say an opportunity. One thing I might do if I was black pills, I might say, okay, if I'm 5'2" white guy and I'm chopped and no girl wants to date me, that's maybe an opportunity to realize that the whole system is messed up, and that's not cope. That's true that the modern dating system is unjust. It's messed up. It's a failed system. It's a broken system, and it's an opportunity to disengage and find meaning elsewhere in the tons of other domains of life. There's tons of other things you can do. Hang out with your homies. You can develop a passion, develop a skill, pursue an intellectual pursuit, produce a body of research and knowledge, become an expert in your craft, and then apprentice the next up and coming people in your craft. You can do YouTube and express your views on YouTube. You need to have some kind of constructive, positive, masculine principled position afterwards, or otherwise I would say I just don't really respect the ideology. But yeah, and I think the essence of a lot of the black pill, they might disagree. They might say, no, no, actually we do have a vision. But like kind of the essence of the black pill is the doom. Like the end point of the black pill is it's over. Like doomerism, like I can't get a girl because it's genetically determined and there's nothing I can do. It's just like, yeah, that might be true, but so what? Like, what are you going to do about it? Oh, you can't get a woman, boo-hoo. Like, and some of these guys are, I'm not saying Rehab Room is like this, but a lot of guys are kind of pathetic when it comes to women. They want someone to like hold their hand and like snuggle and go on a date and like talk to a woman and go shopping with a woman and giggle with a woman and watch Disney. Like, I don't know, it's just kind of gay. It's like, I think as a man, we got to realize that the modern, very feminized, feminist dating system and women in general, and what women expect from men is kind of gay. Like men like Andrew Tate, men like these pickup artists are kind of gay in a sense, because what they're doing is they're submitting themselves to the value systems of women, the whims and fancies of women, and hypergamy, and they want some goofy, like charismatic, snaky, eccentric theater kid with muscles, and it's just kind of like, okay, is that what you really want to be as a man? You want to be this like goofy, broccoli hair boy toy fuck boy character to get women, right? So once you think about that, you're like, okay, the whole black pill is kind of dumb, because it's lamenting that it can't play a game where a bunch of like fags are running around playing. You have these like goofy. Doesn't it all seem just kind of like stupid anyways? Like, if you're Andrew Tate, you spent your whole life pursuing money and, I built this giant company and I scammed millions of men through my demonic porn business, and I made all this money and I got all these Bugattis and I got all the muscle and I did all the trend to get my physique, and I got the tattoos because that's what women like, and I got the da-da-da. What? So you can like bang like Slavic prostitutes, right? So you can scam more men. So 17-year-olds, materialistic 17-year-olds can idolize you, right? So you can like bang like plastic prostitutes. Like can't you see this whole system is fucked? Like, that's what I would kind of say. Try to disengage your value system from women in general. That's a smart move, and I respect MGTOW for that. Yeah, I think MGTOW is more based than the red pill in many senses, or MGTOW is perhaps the more authentic version of the red pill. Yeah, I'd stand by that. I'd say most, like, I respect more MGTOW. I respect more MGTOW. Like, Sandman is way more respectable than Andrew Tate, or I don't know, like Jonathan Yen Lifestyle or something. But anyway, let's get into the rest of the video. That's my take on the black pill. Let me know if you disagree, if you think I have a salient, reasoned position, or if I'm missing something. There's something, I feel like I framed it right. Like, that's what black pill would say. They would say it's, well, there's this, your success in dating is genetic. A lot of it's genetic. Like, even your personality profile is genetic. Like, whether or not you're conscientious or you're hardworking or you're neurotic, or you rebound easily, whether you have a genetic mental illness strain in your family or not. Like a lot of that, which can affect your ability to self-improve and date and get back up and try again. A lot of that is genetic, right? So I'm not even disagreeing with the premise. I just think it's maybe it's losing the bigger picture, I guess I would say. But let me know what you think.
Thankfully for you, I already did the painful work for you. I won't make you suffer through 3 hours of Undead Chronic stream. I will cut to the best parts and you will get a major insight into the questions this viewer has brought up. Why did...
Okay, so I would be suspicious because he's already saying that he's basically gonna he's gonna skip to like particular points that he can like clip out of context and quote unquote dismantle, but let's see.
Didn't I go on his channel for a debate? Why they hate on the BP so much when we are the ones talking against the PUAs the most? And all the other questions I have been getting from the community.
Well, that doesn't really mean anything. I mean, just because you both hate PUAs, which I do too, doesn't mean you're on the same team. Like neocons hate feminists, right? Fox News spends all its day bashing Democrats. Does that mean I like Fox News? No, I think they're equally satanic, and they're an Israel shill. So no, I don't like them. So this whole like, yeah, we both make fun of pickup artists. Okay, so what?
It is since
That alone is suspicious to me.
forever.
Who would have possibly guessed that all it took for a dude that looks like this to betray his community and go back on everything was one mediocre white girl? Oh, man.
You know, he ain't wrong. And not even only with waffles, but all...
What the fuck's in the background? What's that in his mirror? He's got like a dude, what is that? He's got like a ceramic statue of like a fucking ass. What is that? Why do you have that in your room? And clean your room. Goodness. Dude, that light on the lampstand is doing nothing. That's the most useless lamp ever. It should be on the other side. What is he doing, bro? And his mirror is so small. Like, maybe he just doesn't want to... Oh, it's on the floor, actually. He's got another mirror on the floor. Yeah, what are you doing, bro? Like, get a green screen. Clean up your room a little bit. Like, geez, man.
Also, MTAV community in general. You have think before you sleep example right there. Out of these MTAV viewers...
Don't even get me started on think before you sleep. That's another annoying discussion to be had. I've had my beef with that guy. I don't like that guy at all.
Their foundations are not strong.
The red pill's just a guideline of how to get puniti.
Did you hear that, guys? Especially those of you who support Undead Chronic.
I mean, is that false? I mean, I would say that's pretty accurate. I'd say it's pretty accurate because that's what most guys going into the red pill are really doing it for. Like, you could use it for other things. You could use it just how to understand the kind of base biological fallen nature of women and how they actually operate to, I don't know, not get predated upon. But most men are like using it because they want to get pussy, because they don't get pussy, they want pussy, they're men, they have a biological urge and they want to get pussy. So that's not even inaccurate, but because in his mind the validity of a man's opinion is based on how many women he can attract. So okay, so Rehab Room is projecting intent onto Undead Chronic, which is a low tier debate strategy. If you're assuming somebody's intent. If he doesn't word like, he implies and instills he. So he's like pointing to, he didn't say it outright, guys, but he implied it. Well, this is the first clip. You didn't provide any other context. So you're trying to establish a pattern of intent or behavior, but you are doing that with one clip, with like literally a 3-second clip. He said like 2 sentences, and he's not wrong. Like, Undead Chronic is saying that because that's the reality of why most men are using the red pill. That has nothing to do with Chronic. Chronic is stating something about other men and why they use the red pill, not himself. So this makes no sense.
According to him, his words, not mine. Red pill is a guideline of how to get puniti. Wait, I thought it was about being a...
Wait a minute. That's not what he said.
Man, especially...
The red pill's just a guideline of how to get puniti.
Did you hear that, guys? Especially those of you who support Undead Chronic. According to him, his words, not mine, Red Pill is a guideline of how to get punity. Wait, I thought it was about being a man. I wonder what Hammerhand
What? No, that's not true. Red, Red pill is how to be a man. No, Chronic's never said that. I can guarantee you Chronic's never said that.
thinks about this. You hear that, guys? It is a guideline of how to get woman. And not only that,
Yeah, it
if you
is.
can't attack,
Yeah, what else would it be? What does he think the red pill is? Do you think the red pill is like masculinity coaching and like how to be a good man? Literally nobody says that. Chronic would never say that.
attract woman, you can't possibly have a correct opinion on what attracts woman. If you are not actively getting woman, you can't observe, you can't use your brain and have a correct
He also didn't say that. Now he's just projecting all the stuff that Chronic never said.
opinion on what attracts woman.
James, I'll take stuff I never said for 500, please.
Because being able to get with woman is what validates a man's opinion, according to Undead Chronic. He might not be saying this explicitly, but this is what he's engraving in his viewer's mind.
If they know, like, look, Wheat Waffles knows, or at least he says he knows, chicks like dudes with arms thicker than the leg of a golden retriever. Real small arms there. Yeah, he didn't put any of the time trying to get big arms.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't even look like he's toned. Like, I hate to be that guy, but yeah, what is Wheat Waffles doing? He doesn't even look. Doesn't even look like he goes to the gym. Like I used to have a pretty small frame, but you can. That he clearly hasn't even gone to the gym at all. Like, what the fuck, dude?
He attacks on lowest and women. Did you trust the shame Wheat Waffles?
Also, no, that's a straw man. He's picking on Wheat Waffles for being a hypocrite, for talking about how, you know, he knows the formula that women like men who are toned or who have, you know, large muscle mass. Yet it literally looks like Wheat Waffles doesn't even go to the gym. And if he is, he's definitely not having protein or eating enough. So Chronic is just pointing out hypocrisy. He's not. I don't know. This guy's just projecting all the stuff that I know, having listened to Chronic enough. I know this is not Chronic's position, and I'm not even saying this just to like defend or dick ride Chronic. But if I'm using Chronic as a litmus to see if Rehab Room is honest and if I think he's based or not, like if I can listen to him, because I know Chronic pretty well, and if someone is like ravenously disagreeing with Chronic, then unless they're coming from like a very Christian angle, which is probably the only angle I'd probably debate or disagree with Chronic on, would be the Christian worldview as a whole. But if someone's just black-pilled and they're like ravenously disagreeing with Chronic, to me that's a litmus that this person is not does not have it all together.
Looks and SMV, while his best buddy on YouTube is literally Hammerhand. Bro, how are you gonna insult Wheat's looks and SMV when your YouTube duo is Hammerhand?
This is wrong on so many levels. So first of all, Hammerhand is old, right? Second of all, Hammerhand is actually in pretty decent, like he has a pretty decent physique. He doesn't look like Wheat Waffles, who looks like a twig. Hammerhand's a pretty big guy. Third of all, Hammerhand is MGTOW. Or is he? I think he is. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the MGTOW monk. Yeah. So he's not even pursuing women. So why would Hammerhand be looks maxing if he's a MGTOW? Fourth of all, Chronic is like, he had a MGTOW phase. Like, this was 2 years ago. This might be Chronic's MGTOW phase. Fifth of all, why would you just assume that Chronic judges everybody according to being low SMV? As if all of Chronic's friends have to be high SMV, because the only thing Chronic values is men who are high SMV. This is just retarded, right? He's like framing him like Andrew Tate, where every friend has to like be a pickup artist superstar. Like, this is retarded. That's not who Chronic is. Seventh of all, he was picking on Wheat Waffles for being A, small, which is different from SMV, and B, for being a hypocrite, because Wheat Waffles had specifically said women like larger, muscular guys. So he's pointing out the hypocrisy of Wheat Waffles. Completely different. So,
Shaming language. Hammerhand and him complain about shaming language all the time, but then they turn around and do it to other men. That just shows you what kind of man Chronic really is. At heart, he is not any different than gaslighters and PUAs. He can talk against them all he wants. Those of you in my comment section who like him, who like Chronic, those of you who support him, understand this. He is not any different, man.
And it's all cope.
Okay, based on what? He's no different. Why? All he did was he took one clip where Chronic made fun of his arms for being small, and then projected, oh, he's a pickup artist and he values everything on SMV and he's the exact same as pickup artist. No, he was making fun of Wheat Waffles for not doing what Wheat Waffles had already said he knew he needed to do. And this is what Chronic does anyway. He makes fun of everybody's appearance. He makes fun of women for having fat necks. He makes fun of men for being small. He makes fun of people's hairlines. Like, Chronic just roasts people he disagrees with on anything he can find. Doesn't mean that he's a pickup artist or that the only thing he cares about is SMV. He's just picking on Wheat Waffles for looking weak and looking pathetic. That's all he's doing. It has nothing to do with him being a pickup artist or only caring about SMV. Like, that's retarded.
All the dudes saying the gym doesn't work, all the dudes that say there's no gym for your face, never go to the fucking gym. They never go to the gym. They never. It's just excuses. It's excuses. The skinny or fat cell telling you there's no gym for the face. When I hear that,
that's also not entirely true, because as you go to the gym, your overall testosterone increases, which affects your face. You can lean out your face. If you stop eating shitty food and you don't have acne anymore and your face isn't puffing up from phytoestrogens, and you don't have a bunch of fat in your face, then it will literally lean out and you will look more masculine. So this idea there's no gym for your face, it's not entirely true. I'm not saying you can like fix your face and you can go from being like totally ugly to a supermodel, but this idea that the gym and testosterone and eating right and sleeping right doesn't affect your face, not true at all. Like, there's tons of benefits to your face that eating well, sleeping well, and having high testosterone, working out can do for your face. So it's just not true.
it's like a fat woman telling me she has thyroid problems and she can't go to the gym. No difference. Excuses. There ain't no excuses. No excuses. He's 5'10". Honestly, he's lazy.
Yeah, see what Chronic's pointing out too. He's not short. So it's not someone like Wheat Waffles. He's not particularly short. He's 5'10". And Chronic mentioned that, basically saying you're not a 5'2" Indian. You don't have the excuse of like, I'm a midget of a different race in a white country. Right? So he really has no excuse. He's 5'10". He's just skinny. He needs to put on a little bit of like someone like Wheat Waffles really has no excuse to be black pill because he's kind of white. He's got clear skin. He's got some hair. If he grew out his physique, started going to the gym, he could look a lot better. Now, would he turn into a 10 out of 10? No, but he could definitely get a girlfriend, right? If he put more effort into his physique. So for this specific example, I don't think for every chopped person that they're just making excuses, but I think definitely for Wheat Waffles in this example, he is definitely making excuses, and he didn't even try. And that specifically is what Chronic's pointing out.
That's what it is. The majority of black pill dudes, they're just fucking lazy.
You hear that, guys? You are gonna hit the gym, bro. You are gonna...
Now this, I don't know. I don't know if like, I mean, if you're this guy, you have no excuse really, because like, he has a super baby face too. Like, but I guarantee a lot of the damage is by diet, not exercising, and bad sleep in general. And the fit is looking like, if you have a small fit, you shouldn't be wearing tight clothes, right? Just kind of like basic, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say that all the black pill are just making excuses. There are men who sit at the bottom of the gene pool and just, they kind of suck. But I think this guy, Wheat Waffles, has no excuse. And Chronic is making a specific point here.
Gonna rot in the gym to get women, bro. He's so off the mark. Like, he's calling Wheat Waffles lazy.
And it is excuses because the black pill is obsessed and complaining about women. So I don't think that every man should grind 12 hours in the day just to get a woman. I think that's stupid. I think you should pursue something more meaningful and higher order than just validation from women. One sec. Anyway, yeah, that's my phone. However, I think if you're going to spend, gosh dang it, if you're going to spend all your day complaining about women not dating you, then if you're going to make that your value system, then yeah, you should logically be actually trying, not making excuses. So it's an internal critique from the black pill point of view, which says, "Oh, women don't want to date me. I can't get any women. This is such a big problem." No, no, no. It's like, okay, well, did you even go to the gym? Why are your arms so tiny? That's what Chronic is saying. So it's, I don't think you should be necessarily, the average man should grind away at the gym. But if you want to get women and you want to complain about getting women all day, then you should at least be putting in the work.
When he never even claimed to be an inkwell. Bro, I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just gonna show his own subscribers, own viewers' responses to him. No gym for your face.
All right, no gym isn't advocating men don't train. It's simply pointing out that doing so has... I don't know why I threw dick size in there. That's not something you can... It's not something you can control. Isn't it mostly determined by your race and your height? Money makes up 1%. Now that's definitely not true. The idea that so this comment is already crazy because it's saying your money makes up 1%. Look at Jeff Bezos. Look at people who are not attractive yet they have all these women surrounding them. Like, is Trump attractive? No, he's like an old fat boomer. He's not attractive, but he's a billionaire, so he gets all these women. So this idea that money makes up 1%, no, money definitely has a strong impact on how attractive women find you, right? Women can put up with you not having the looks if your money is up. So that definitely is not true. He also lists an anecdote. I'm 30 and I've been working out since I was 14. I'm still a virgin. Well, we don't know your situation. You could be ugly as fuck. I mean, you're not developing your social skills. You're not going out and you're extremely socially awkward. Yes, a well-structured, and I would not disagree that if you have a genetically good face, that helps a lot, of course. And if you have a genetically bad face, that screws you over a lot. But you can actually improve the way your face looks and the way your complexion, your overall complexion by going to the gym. So that's actually not true.
Isn't advocating that men don't train. It is simply pointing out that doing so has little to no impact on your ability to attract women. Exactly. Your face and height make up about 90% of your SMB muscles. Dong size makes up 9% and money makes up 1%. I am 30 and have been working out since I was 14, yet I am still...
And here's the other thing, like the black pill, if you're trying to suss out whether it's a strong position or not, this isn't the first time I've seen... Pretty much all of the black pill relies on anecdotes and relies on this like type of argumentation which comes from like message boards where everybody on these message boards and 4chan is like sharing their anecdotes of like, I was brutally rejected and I da. And it's like, yeah, that might be true for you, but there might be other factors that are playing into it that are not just your face. It's like, well, I have an ugly face and he has a good face, so that's why I get no women, is because of my face. Well, could it be that you are also extremely socially awkward and you don't approach women and you were never socialized when you were a kid and you are short, and like, could it be a combination of things, right? So I don't think it's really accurate to just say it has everything to do with your face and height. I think it's more well-rounded than that. I think it's more holistic. Because I think a lot of these men too, if you're good looking, you're going to be more likely to, you're going to socialize easier, right? So it's kind of compounding where it's like, if you are good looking, then you are more likely to socialize in school, and therefore you're going to have better social skills once you get out of high school, and you're going to have better self-esteem and confidence. And maybe you're going to be invited with the boys, and they're going to help you work out, and you're going to get more economic opportunities, and you're going to get more money. So it kind of becomes a compounding system where success in all the domains tends to coagulate. I would say that's kind of my view. So the black pill tends to reduce it to one factor, and it's like, whoa, it's because of my face that I don't get any women. It's like, no, it's probably just because you're socially autistic, right? It's probably because you don't know how to talk to women, and that too, right? And you're not good looking, I'm sure, but it's like a combination of things. There is kind of like a class system, and your position in the class system is not just your looks. It's not just your face. And but anyway, I'm kind of getting off track. The point of this comment is that this isn't really true. Like, you can improve the way your face looks, and your success with women is not height and your face, right? It's much more complicated than that, because these men also have to be extroverted and skilled with women, and they have to have good social skills, and they have to have a good friend group, and coming from an affluent background helps a lot too. So it's kind of like it's a holistic thing that goes into attracting women, and it's not reducible to your face or your height. I think that's kind of what I wanted to say.
A virgin. A mutual friend of mine has never worked out in his life and has drastically less muscle mass than me, but he has a well-structured face. When he enters a room, you can see all the girls drooling over him. When I enter, they look at me in disgust due to my incorrect face. This is spot on. And
no, this is like 4chan. Be me, have an ugly face, all the girls. This is like pity. I don't know what this is. This is like pathetic sob story, victimizing pity party stuff. Like, there's no reason to do this. Even if this is true, no one wants to hear this. This is gross. Like, no one wants to hear about how all the girls rejected you because your face looks bad and you're like a deer that got hit by a car. Like, nobody wants to hear your disgusting story. It's even if it's the case, like, nobody wants to hear that.
And you're gonna ask, what was Undead Chronic's response to this? Guys, of course, it is truly a surgical takedown we have come to expect from him. Gonna need to see those curl numbers. Yeah.
I think a lot of it just has to do with respect, in my opinion. I think a lot of it has to do with, I don't think you really get to do the whole woe is me, I'm such a sob story, I struggle with women so much, if you're not at least putting in the work to show that the system is truly rigged. Like, I would agree that, yeah, just going to the gym is not going to fix it, but there could be compounding effects out of the gym that actually do really help you. Like, you go to the gym, suddenly now you have higher testosterone, your overall build and face looks cleaner. You go to the gym, you have the energy to make more money, and you have the motivation and the momentum to steamroll into eating healthy. Now you have friends who are going to help you socialize because you're better looking. You have muscles, you're much more presentable. Now people are likely to be your friend. Now you have friends. Now you can build social skills with those friends. Now those friends have networks where they know some women, and you can talk to those women. 1 second, I'm being called by Netanyahu. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We just got the call from Israel. That's all. All right, let's go back.
You know what, man? Undead is actually funny, but he's funny when he isn't trying to be. Like, I was a gym cell myself. There was a point after a couple of years I was considering hopping on steroids because it was so hard to keep my cuts.
Once again, most of the BP arguments reduced to anecdotes. I'm just saying, keep that in mind.
And get bigger also. Like, a lot of men go through the same process because you have people like Chronic gaslighting us, and then reality is gonna slap you in the face. Oh, you are gonna put...
Notice too what Chronic didn't say. Chronic didn't say that all you had to do was go to the gym and you would suddenly be guaranteed to get a bunch of women. What he's saying is that these people who are complaining that the gym doesn't work, don't go to the gym, and don't have muscles. He's pointing out hypocrisy and weakness.
In the work in the gym, bro. It is that easy. He's so delusional, man. Like, his entire concept of roasting is ripping on people's looks, which proves the black pill once again, by the way, and poor jokes. He made the same offer to me before. Like, why would I be
I mean, looks being important isn't the black pill. I mean, I don't know if that's really a fair summarization of what the black pill is. It's just to say that looks are the most important thing. Yeah, I might even agree that looks are really important. It's going to be your first impression. It's going to be the most important for like dating. But I don't know if that alone, that small fact alone, is the same as the black pill or vindicates the entirety of the black pill as a mindset, as an ideology. It's like a straw man.
interested in a debate? I know nothing productive is gonna come out of it. He's just gonna call me an inkwell the entire time. Will bring up my accent, gonna say shit like, oh, prove me that you can bench 300 right now. Gonna say what every other normie says. Oh, you can't have an opinion because you can't attract women like that. And the sad thing is, he probably thinks that he does such a great job at roasting.
He didn't go to the gym to fix it. He didn't do sports to fix it. You know what he did to fix it? He became a black pill cope cell. Went online, complained about women because he couldn't get them. Why could he not get them? Because he didn't do any work.
The irony of Undead saying this. Bro, you, Hammerhand, Taylor the Fiend, those people are watching you because your entire thing is roasting and talking about women and feminists.
I think Chronic and Black Pill can be right. I think there's people where work isn't going to do much. Like, some people are so chopped and cooked and 5'2" and so Indian that, yeah, no amount of, like, gym is going to, or reasonable amount of work is going to fix it. And even conscientiousness in work can be tied to circumstance and genetics and upbringing. So, but what Chronic is right about is that it's hypocritical to take the red pill and admit that looks have a lot to do with it and then not do the work of going to the gym to improve your looks. For Wheat Waffles, to say that, you know, women like men with big arms and then not to work and, you know, work out and eat a lot protein and get big arms, that's a contradiction on his point. It's hypocrisy. That's what he's pointing out. And I would also say that Wheat Waffles, if he's 5'10", and the real problem with Wheat Waffles is he's skinny as a rake. He's got a very weak, estrogenic, skinny physique. That's really his problem. His problem is not that he's a 5'2", extremely chopped, disfigured Indian. That's not his core issue. So for Wheat Waffles specifically, it's okay to make fun of him because this is an issue where this is an individual who would actually have a fair amount of success, who might do all right if he looked a lot better. I mean, the proof that he got a girlfriend proves that he's not totally screwed over. He's not chopped into oblivion. So, yeah, I think it's appropriate for Wheat Waffles in this case to make fun of him.
Like, Undead Chronic's act is wearing thin. His claims can't be reconciled with the reality his own viewers face on a daily basis. Why do those manosphere MTO guys hate the BP so much? Brother, the very same reason why dating coaches hate the BP. We are cutting into their influence. Two wings of the RP, and they both hate us for the exact same reason. We are cutting into their influence.
This is not true. Once again, he's projecting intent, which is unprovable, so very good argument. No, Chronic doesn't like BP because they're weak and because they're pathetic, and I kind of agree. Like, I don't like the attitude or the mindset of Black Pill, where they're just constantly moping, and it's like, if you can't get women, like, move on then. Like, do a little, like, sour grapes, there's a bit of virtue in the sour grapes mentality where it's like, yeah, move on, like, find something else to pursue. If you're so chopped into oblivion that you're never going to get a woman, then just stop thinking about women. Like, if you really are genetically at a dead end, then shut up and, like, go do something else. Like, men especially, like, code of honor men, like masculinity. We don't want to see a bunch like you complaining about how no women want to get with you because you're ugly and you're just doomed. It's really unattractive to women, but to men too. Like to witness this kind of pathetic, like wallowing behavior, it's really gross and unrespectable. Like so that's why Chronic's making fun of him is because people like wheat waffles who look like that. They look weak. They are weak. Their mindset is weak. The black pill is weak, and I think MGTOW would be a better response. It'd be like, okay, just don't pursue women. Women aren't worth it anyway. You can call that sour grapes, but it's respectable because it's pursuing something outside of women. So you're actually building something. You have a positive vision. You're not just moping about women all day and complaining, which it's like, I would agree with Chronic where it's like, okay, get jacked first. If that does nothing, then you can complain that there's no gym for your face, there's no this for you that. Okay, but it's a bit ironic because they want to use anecdotes all day for why the black pill is true. But do they have personal experience of going to the gym and it netting no benefits? They say that, but they'll go to the gym, they won't eat right, they'll go inconsistently, they don't train that hard. Um, and then they do it for like a little bit, and then they say, "Oh, the gym doesn't work," and they have all these. They've already made up their mind that the gym doesn't work, but most of them have never actually even fully gone down the gym route and actually done the work, which is, I think, just in terms of consistency, in terms of like due diligence, perhaps due diligence, you should at least do the work of going to the gym before you say the gym doesn't work. That seems like common sense. I don't know why you would disagree with that. If especially if you're like an anecdote based, personal experience based ideology where everything is some you know messaging board story, some green text story. It's like, okay, do the gym thing first. Prove that you didn't just fuck around in the gym, that you didn't do it inconsistently for a little bit, that you did it right, aka prove how much you can bench, prove how much you can curl, and then we'll see if you're still an incel, right? If you still are, then that's a different story. Maybe Chronic wouldn't be making fun of you. Maybe you'd have a legitimate point. People might take you a little more seriously. But it'd be like saying being rich it has nothing to do with money except you're broke. So it's like, okay, well you don't know because you aren't rich. So how would you know that being rich actually doesn't help you? So it's just dumb once again. It's no, they've committed themselves to like a doomer, this like masturbatory like pity party mentality, and so they just kind of hand wave the possibility that being in shape could help your chances in dating. And for someone like wheat waffles, it really could. Like, yeah, if you're 5'2" Indian, yeah, I agree that the little extra boost you get from going to the gym is not going to be enough to pull you out of the pit. But if you're someone like wheat waffles, where he actually really would benefit from like having a better physique. Like his main problem, he's white, he's 5'10". Gingers can be attractive. Like he could do something. His main problem is that he has a tiny physique, and that's like what people don't realize too is that a lot of the benefits snowball. So if you're bigger, if you have better shape, you're gonna be more confident. Like as a man, having a better physique makes you feel more confident, gives you a legitimate degree of confidence. Men in your circle are going to respect you more. They're not going to make fun of you like Chronic is and treat you like you're weak. You're going to have more testosterone, which is going to help you engage in more risk-taking behavior, help you be more charismatic and active. It's going to make it easier to approach women and take on social risk, overcome social anxiety. Like, what else? It's going to make your mood better. Having serotonin and testosterone is going to improve your mood, your outlook on life in general. Like, people think that belief and ideology is purely intellectual, it's purely abstract and conceptual, but a lot of the way people think and a lot of their attitudes actually has to do with their biology, has to do with their lowest base psychological needs, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If they don't meet those bottom needs, then their entire view of themselves, the view of the world, is going to be influenced negatively because they didn't get enough sleep or they didn't get enough food to eat. And I'm not trying to hand wave all of the points that the black pill makes by just saying, well, you haven't eaten enough, or something stupid like Jordan Peterson might say. But I'm just saying that a lot of these things can be influenced by, part of it can be that, you regularly don't get enough sleep. You regularly are have fried dopamine receptors. You have not enough serotonin. You don't have enough vitamins in your system. You're not eating healthy. Your ADLs are thrown off. Like, there could be, fix those things first and then see if your outlook changes, right? And don't be so hasty as to say these things won't do anything if you haven't actually done them first. I think that's a reasonable reservation and expectation to have. And then people like Chronic would roast you, but I think Chronic is justified because it's kind of pathetic to say that, women like muscular men in shape, but then also not do the work. And just the kind of laziness and doomer mentality without the work or without the effort it's not respectable as a man.
Audience and money. If you have this many people, this many coppers and gaslighters unite in attacking you, it means we are doing something right. They are losing out of people.
That doesn't prove anything. Just because another fallacy. Just because people agree or disagree with the position has nothing to do with whether it's true or false. Just because you have a lot of angry doomer mentality people doesn't mean it's true. We have a lot of feminists. A lot of people are becoming feminist. A lot of people are liberal. Does that mean that it's true? Just because, I don't know, like Con Inc. is hemorrhaging people to the left and the far right. Does that mean that feminism is true? Right? No. So this is dumb. Just because people have a doomer mentality and that's becoming popular, its popularity doesn't actually make it true. Right? So, no, I disagree.
People to the beeping. The turnover rate is not the other way around. I used to watch Hammerhand, I used to watch Undead Chronic, now you are my favorite YouTuber. Like, no surprise, brother. You follow his advice right away in a gym, and when they get slapped in the face by the reality of life, they go to the wheat waffles.
Oh, and
Like, the reason I listen to Chronic is not because I think working out is going to get me puniti. I don't work out because I think, oh, if I work out really hard, then a woman's gonna like. I work out because I think it's just a good thing to do. Like, I think it's good to be in shape. You shouldn't let your body deteriorate. Your body is a temple. It's a gift given by God, and you should nurture and treat that gift properly. You have a duty to actually keep your body in shape. So, and I like Chronic because he is good at pointing out weakness and cucketry wherever it exists, and he has a high standard for not being like a faggot. I guess, like, not being weak or not being cucked or hypocritical. And I think we're missing a lot of that. I think we have a lot of people, even on the right, who are very soft, who are very permissive. Like, Fuentes hangs out with Sneeko, and when you really think about it, like, Sneeko was a cuck. Like, why is Sneeko like an okay person, an okay role model to hang out with? Like, yeah, once you hear it coming from Chronic, you're like, yeah, this guy's like gross. It kind of reminds you that the ecosphere of the internet is very feminized and has very low standards for masculinity, and I think Chronic kind of re-establishes a sensible masculine standard for not being kind of a cuck, not being pathetic, not being disgusting, and I don't know, he's maybe not representative of the regular kind of cucked ecosphere on the internet. And like, he'll make fun of white nationalists too, and I kind of get it, because some of them are just like chuds. Some of them are just like internet chuds who kind of like crash out when you're dating an Asian woman or a black woman, and it's like, I don't know, there's just a lot of like cucked, kind of like angry, pathetic chuds on the internet, and I think Chronic is good for presenting like a sensible disgust for these type of individuals, which is like a good masculine virtue, I think, to be discussed at cucks. I think that's valid. I think regardless of what your position is, like we should all look at people who betray their own or who are weak and pathetic and contradict and are hypocrites and don't do the work, who are soft, who are effeminate, who hang around cucks, who lie to young men like Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, who are feds like Tucker Carlson. Like it's a virtue to call these people out and to gatekeep the red pill and masculinity away from these types of people. So I don't listen to Chronic for his dating advice. I don't listen to Chronic because I think like he has some secret sauce for getting women. Like, yeah, work on your social skills, go to the gym, build up your status, like try to have a respectable job, have respectable friends, have respectable hobbies, have a plan, be educated, be somewhat sophisticated enough to engage in conversations. Don't like, yeah, it's not really that complicated to get puniti. So I don't listen to Chronic, and I don't think anyone does because they need advice. The advice is pretty straightforward, and it's not even about getting women. So this is like once again the black pill obsession with women. They think everything revolves around SMV. Like he immediately took Chronic making fun of wheat waffles and assumed it had to do with Chronic being obsessed with SMV, which is not the case. Chronic just makes fun of this guy because he's weak and he's pathetic and he's a hypocrite. Says women like big muscles and he wants women, yet he doesn't go to the gym. That's what Chronic was pointing out. So this is once again like the BP obsession with like everything being about women and about getting dates. And it's like the reason I might listen to Chronic or a person might listen to Chronic has nothing to do with our access to puniti, has nothing to do with our position in the hierarchy, in the totem pole. And you see BP do this all the time where everyone's either a 10 or you're a sub 5 or you're an alpha or you're a beta. And it's like, this is like a stupid false dialectic. This is a stupid value system. This stupid like beta, omega bullshit, which is really feminine, by the way, because this is a value system which is imposed by women. It's invented since the sexual revolution. So you should reject it purely because it's a feminine mindset anyway. But to me, once again, Rehab Room seems to be there's a pattern I'm noticing where he's reaffirming like black pill obsession with women and SMV, quote unquote.
And he's British. Oh, you're wild. Honestly, Wheat Waffles, you're wild, man. The stuff you see on your YouTube channel, the misogynistic hate speech, I'm surprised you're not streaming from jail. You might see yourself in the slammer, and you'll be like raiding prisoners' faces for half a cigarette. Except instead of calling them all ugly, you're going to call them all Chad. Because if you call them ugly, well, you're going to have a bad time in the shower that night, right?
Yo, this was hilarious. I am not gonna lie. This is the only time I thought he was actually funny throughout the entire 3-hour long stream. Imagine.
I can just totally imagine this Wheat Waffles like face rating like Italian, like mafia criminals. Hey boss, what's my face? Am I a looker? Am I a 6 out of 10? You think?
Waffles going to the jail because of his YouTube channel and raiding inmates' faces for cigarettes. But
Be so
instead of
funny.
ugly, he's gonna call them chat to not get boinked by Jamel and Abdul.
Okay, but here's the thing. The reason this is funny is because outside the context of like 4chan and YouTube, like thinking and operating in terms of Chad and incel and 6 out of 10 and like this makes no sense. Like it's goofy. Like in a prison cell, nobody gives a fuck what your face looks like, right? So that's the absurdity behind the BP position, obsessed with looks maxing and face and whatever. And it's like most of life outside of what women prefer has nothing to do with this. So like maybe open yourself up to the rest that life, maybe go pursue other things that life has to offer and not revolve your value system around your face and what women like in a face.
In the shower, so
Yeah, do you think like Napoleon, do you think any of the great leaders and inventors really gave a shit what they look like? It's kind of a feminine mindset, really, even as a man, to be obsessed with how you look. Like women sit there and obsess over their face and obsess over their makeup and check their face in their little pocket mirror. Like men should be doing things. We should be busy. We should have empires to build and ambitions and projects we want to complete. And we should want to establish a legacy and make a mark and build things and help people and do stuff and fight battles and not fuck around looking at your face. It's just kind of gay, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like a effeminate gay mindset. I mean, yeah, if you're like trying to analyze why you aren't getting women, I sure a little bit, but outside of that, just to be constantly thinking about how you look, like that's not really how men operate. And once you realize that, like, if you truly are genetically cooked, if you really think you're genetically cooked, you can't get women because your face is too ugly, then move on. Like, do something else. Like, make your life revolve around something productive, not just what women think of your face. This is just stupid.
yeah.
I do.
And yeah, I'll press harder because it is kind of gay to like obsess over female validation and even love, like revolving around like I need a woman to love me and I need cuddles and I need sex. It's like, okay, you need sex for like 10 minutes and then it's done, and then it's like, okay, then you got to do something else with your life after you nut. What comes next, right? So it's like maybe you could just skip to the part where what comes next. Maybe you could just skip the nut and just go straight to the what comes next part, because the nut is just, it's just kind of, it's a part of life, it's a desire, but it's not, it shouldn't define your entire life. So I think obsessing over female attention, validation, affection in general, if you're dependent on women and your life, your outlook on life, your ideology is dependent on what women think of you, that is kind of gay. It's like you should have more important things because women are stupid. So yeah, I will press on that. I will say that like you are kind of gay for staying up late at night thinking, oh, what if a woman loved me? Like that is gay.
I do actually believe in one aspect of the blue pill, and
That's not sour grapes because I'm not. I mean, I don't want to talk about my personal life, right? Like, you could say you're not an incel, but they'll just call you an incel anyway. So there's no real point. There's no real point trying to like, because they call Chronic an incel. So what would they say about me, right? So I'm not even gonna bother. But I'm just saying like, I don't know. I just think it's kind of effeminate to revolve your life and your sense of worth around women. And even the like, yeah, but I want love and it's a, it's biological and it's a big part. No, even then it's kind of gay. It's like men in marriages, I don't think spend all their time like thinking about their wife and like going, how can I have a shopping trip and go to Disneyland with my wife? Like, even once you marry, you're still mostly focused on your work. You're focused on like your job. You're focused on things out in the world, politics, government, machines, industry. You should be focused on these things, even if you're married. Like, think of all the men who, once they get married, they start thinking, oh, I wish I could get away from my wife. Oh, I wish I could, my wife would shut up. I wish I could, get some time alone. I'm more interested in XYZ than hanging out with my wife or my kids. Like, real men, even the ones who did have women, their attitude wasn't like, oh, now I have a woman who cuddles me. Now my life is perfect. I'm in harmony now. Everything's great. It's like a woman isn't going to just randomly fix your life. Like, there's still the rest of life that you have to organize around, internalize, and do. You still have to do the rest of life. So I just kind of think it's silly to build an ideology entirely around women and what they think.
that aspect is that a woman's body count does not matter. This is actually a problem that I see.
Wait, go
does
back.
not matter, the blue pill. And that aspect is that a woman's body count does not matter. This is
You can reason towards any conclusion. Really. A high value man goes after what he wants, so he should double text? What? What? I mean, this is just a non sequitur, right?
actually a problem that
90% of guys don't care about purity. Chad leftovers with 8 out of 10 looks. Okay. Yeah, well, Chads are not looking for wives, so this whole like they don't care about purity. Um, yeah, because they're not looking for wives; they're looking for sex. And if you're looking for sex, you want someone who looks sexy, right? Obviously. But yeah, if you're trying to have a wife, if you're trying to like commit to her and put a ring on her and give her a bunch of money and give her access to half your stuff, then yeah, you're gonna maybe factor in purity. But even then, so what?
I see in the entirety of the manosphere, not just red pill, but also black pill and MTOW as well, that they all have this idea about a woman's purity is so important, and any woman with a high body count who's been flown around the world, who's done all of this crazy stuff, going out to parties, getting hammered, a woman who's done all of that stuff is impure. Therefore, you shouldn't date her. That's the main point that I'm trying to drill home in this video. When you look at the truth about what actually happens in the real world, does a woman's purity matter? You will find that 90% of guys, they just don't care. They are blue pilled on this issue, and the very
Well, it's not blue pilled if you're trying to smash. So if you're trying to smash, then you don't really need to care about purity. I mean, also, so what? Just because there's a large group of men who don't care about purity does not make them blue pill. Blue pill has more to do with men than it does women, I guess. I don't know what point he's trying to make. So what?
fact that 90% of guys are blue pilled on this issue, by default, that automatically makes it the truth. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
What? He's saying because men are dumb and they don't prioritize wifely virtues like purity for a wife, instead they're going after sex. He's basically saying that makes purity not important. Well, yeah, because if most men are trying to smash, then yeah, they don't need to care about purity. I don't know what he proved here. This was stupid.
So the majority opinion makes it the truth, that you're saying? If you think truth depends on people's opinions, you are a fool. You are a fool.
Undead is right here. Oh, 90% think purity doesn't matter. This makes it a truth. Bro, 90% of men think looks don't matter either. Then it makes it a truth also, following his logic. Oh, 90% of men would still date her. Therefore, it doesn't matter, bro. Like, these days, even overweight women have high SMV. Even they can date 90% of men. Just because normies don't have an issue with it doesn't mean anything. Look man, the truth is I don't even care. I have never been one of those insufferable cringe haters. If anything, his success on YouTube pays a dividend yield for me. If you watch his videos, it won't be long before you find out about me. I ain't about cringe back and forth drama. I don't like to talk about people for one thing. I talk about opinions, ideas. He's entitled to say whatever he wants, but it is important that you guys understand whatever he's saying it to make money. He won't refrain from twisting the truth if it means more money. Take what he has to say with a grain of salt. For example, he used to make several videos talking about purity. Oh, female promiscuity is leading to society's downfall. Now it is all about, oh, it doesn't matter at all. Oh, it is better to be a male in the dating market. Why? Because you can looks max. You guys remember that laughable video, right?
That's also retarded because there's way more options for women to looks max, and for them it doesn't take months and months of grueling hard work in the gym. Or, I don't know, smashing your face with like a hammer. Like, yeah, we have all these technologies. Like, there's really no excuse for a woman to be ugly because you don't have to be buff as a woman. So literally, it's better if you don't work out. because that's just going to increase your appetite and you're going to put on muscle. Maybe work out your glutes, but even then, like you don't have to. Um, and there's all these beauty products. There's all these filters. There's tons of technologies that we've developed, corsets, certain like clothing technology, push-up bras, and like the booty lift jeans and whatnot to make women look better. So like this is retarded. Oh, men can looks max. Um, there's entire industries about looks maxing for women that have been around for centuries. So that's one of the most retarded things I've heard.
It is one of the biggest coping videos I have ever seen in my life. Now you're gonna ask, why did he make that video? Does he believe so? Does he really believe that? It is because if you don't believe that nonsense, you are less likely to buy his looks maxing advice. Look man, I am not even against him offering face ratings. I am not criticizing him because he makes a lot of money. But it feels like these days his videos just revolve around selling more stuff. His thing ain't I am a speak the truth and it is great if I can make some cash while doing it anymore. Now it is I am a maximize the money I make and anything I say will be based on that. And that alone. He did 180 on some of the most crucial points and core ideas, just so he can cozy up to the literal PUAs, calling literal PUAs great YouTubers. He claims that it is better to be man in the dating market.
Wait, let's look at this list. He put Hamza, really, bro? He put himself. That's retarded. He put himself and he put Alex from Playing with Fire. These like disgusting human beings. I mean, that's the real mistake. That's where like the absurdity of some of these people becomes obvious. Because you take literal like sex addict scumbags who scam men out of millions of dollars, who do like a bunch of drugs, hyper degenerate, this weird, fucking kinky, weird shit, no standards, no morals, and they're like, oh, these are great people, these are good role models, I should become like them. Yeah, no, they're great. I love Alex from Playing with Fire. Like, these are like disgusting people. They have no moral standards. So like saying stuff like this just reveals the absolute bankruptcy of some of these pill people, right? Like, it's not based in virtue. It's not based in Christianity or anything sensible. It's just like, just absolute craziness.
And the reasons he lists are just laughable. Every single one of them. It's just laughable mental gymnastics. Just so he can sell more looks max advice. Oh, traveling is seen as a bad thing for women but not for men. Therefore, it is better to date as a man. Wheat waffle, bro, do you live in Baghdad? Brother, did you move to Afghanistan without letting us know? Where do you live? That women who have traveled are seen as tainted. You said it yourself, man. Average normie on the street doesn't even care if his girl has been around the block. If they don't care about that, you think they will care because she has traveled to Europe once. Guys, you gotta understand, of course he knows that is not true, but says it regardless. Or it is better to be a man in the dating market because you can looks max. Just shut up and buy my looks maxing advice. Bro, females don't even need to worry about those retarded plastic surgeries. They also have those looks maxing options, as much as we do. It is just they don't even need to worry about those. They can just live their lives. And even if they are losers, they will still have a reasonable social life and a dating life. For a lot of men, looks maxing is like lips.
I mean, yeah, that's a black pill. Is like the reason there's all these fat women is because they can afford to be fat. Like, that's the truth. Is like women have one leverage point, or yeah, one, and that's their body, and they have so much leverage that they don't even have to maintain their body that much. They can just get fat. And they'll still there will still be men trying to chubby chase and do all this dumb shit, give them attention. A bunch of Indian men hitting them up, trying to get with the white woman, the white whale, the great white whale. So yeah.
Stick on a peg. You will go from 4 to what? 5, 6, whatever. And you are still gonna be invisible. Meanwhile, even a 4 out of 10 woman can have a reasonable social...
I mean, that's the problem right there, is he assumes that because you're a 6, you're miserable. I mean, that kind of reveals, once again, people like Rehab Room are just kind of stuck in the mindset of the only way to achieve happiness, or my entire value system is built around looks and success with women, and if you are a if you're below a 7 or whatever, if you're a 4, if you're a 5, then you're miserable. It's like this is just it's just so historically asinine. It's like nobody thought like this in the past, that entire your entire way of life, your happiness or your misery completely revolved around women and their opinions of you. Uh, so yeah, that was just I just noticed that he said, "Oh, you're gonna be 4 or 5, and you're gonna be miserable." It's like he just assumes that anyone who's ugly has to be miserable, or what? 5 isn't even ugly. That's just average. So if you're average looking and you're not swimming in women and female attention, then you must be miserable. If you're not getting a ton of game, then you're miserable. It's like it's dumb.
Life, a reasonable dating life. And I am not only talking about hookups, but they can get reasonable looking men to get into relationships with them as well. Telling men that they have it better in dating than women just because men can looks max is like saying it is better to have a crappy Ford Fiesta with a flat tire than a brand new Bugatti, because that Fiesta has more looks maxing options. Imagine pulling up next to some crappy Ford Fiesta with your brand new Bugatti and telling the guy inside, hey man, it is better for you that you don't have my car, because you can do more improvement with your car than I can do with mine, and you drive off. Of course.
I think once again, even this analogy kind of reveals it. Like he's reducing people to cars, where there's like a clear social status and caste based off of looks, and that's how all humans need to orient themselves and be organized. There's Bugattis and then there's Ford Fiestas, and that's all there is to life, which is materialistic, because the analogy he uses is a car, which is a material thing. Keep in mind, by the way, even with cars, there's like nice cars, like super sports cars that like break down you know, every 100 kilometers, that cost a ton in maintenance, that can't even go on some roads if the roads aren't smooth enough, who, I don't know, can't service parts for, like can only fit 2 people. So exactly what are you judging the car by? Because in some cases, a Honda Civic could be better than this car. Let's say you're going on a road trip. Do you really want to take this car to the road trip? Are you okay leaving this car outside on the street, parked outside in the street? Can you fit all of your luggage and 3 extra people in the 2-seater sedan, this car thing, right? What about maintenance, right? So it becomes like, once again, even with the car analogy, there's different ways to judge the merit or usefulness or construct a value system around the cars. And the same is true with humans, where it's like humans are not reducible to how they look, and you shouldn't reduce your life to your dating success or how you look.
Of course, guys, you gotta understand why Reed is saying these things. At the end of the day, he knows none of it is true. He knows that it contradicts with everything he said up to that point.
It's kind of annoying because I already know they're just gonna say cope. They're gonna say, oh, that's because you're ugly, or that's because you don't have to worry about this, or they're just gonna say cope. They're gonna be like, oh, you're coping, or you say don't worry about these things because you don't have to worry about them. If you were really in my position, you would say that, and it's just they put themselves in this privileged position where nobody can judge them because they're not as miserable as them. It's the same as like when people are miserable and they're like Eeyore and mopey. They'll say, oh, yeah, but you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to be me. And it's like, what, you think depressed people with shitty lives don't exist? You don't think people can be sad, and that you don't think that's a universal experience we can all understand and conceptualize, that only you have experienced this? And it's just dumb. But it's ironic too, because they'll also say that working out doesn't work, even though they haven't actually gone through that experience. So they have a double standard where you're never allowed to critique their position, because you're not them. You're not in their position. You're not the 4 out of 10 like me. So all your arguments are invalid. And then as soon as you say, okay, well, did you actually try working out? They'll say, yeah, well, no, that would never work anyway. So suddenly lived experience is not the benchmark for, you know, argumentation or validity. So anyway,
but says it regardless. It is the same reason why he considers all these guys great YouTubers. According to him, all these guys are great YouTubers because if you are a guy who is watching those YouTubers he shows as great, literal PUAs, game proponents, people who charge struggling men thousands of dollars to tell them rot away in a gym, men who have an history of lying and gaslighting. If you think those guys are great YouTubers, you are more likely to pay Wheat Waffles. Like the fact that he puts himself in this thumbnail together with these guys just tells you what you need to know. I don't care how much effort they put in their videos, bro. They are putting the effort into gaslighting, man. So it is actually worse. I mean, I don't know what his plan is. If he realizes he isn't getting the same views and money, he will probably go back and you will see him making videos again about how much worse men have it, how it is over again, and that kind of stuff. But the point I am trying to make is this, like, understand this, whatever Veet says, he says it to maximize his profit. Guys, I am end the video on this note. Please don't follow anybody just because they are claiming BP or whatever. This is why I don't even like to use these self-labels and buzzwords anymore. Never pay attention to self-labels. Look at ideas and try to see the motives behind those ideas. Look at how they start and how they end up.
I mean, yeah, even then, once again, he talked about motives. Well, it's hard to prove motives. It's hard to...
So Matt Walsh
Okay,
here.
we got another video. It's hard to look at motives. It's hard to really... I wouldn't base my positions on what other people's motives are. I would just look at the ideas themselves, steelman them, maybe take them in good faith, just assume that there's no ill intent. Try to take them at their best. But anyway, so what's my assessment? The Rehab room seems to have made a lot of... He seems like a typical black pill individual. Yeah, he was critiquing wheat waffles, except that's pretty easy to do, so I don't think that means anything. That doesn't make him base just because he made fun of wheat waffles. And he tried to go after Chronic, but he really did nothing. He picked out two 5-second clips and just assumed and like warped them, twisted them into something that Chronic wasn't even saying. And I've listened to Chronic enough where I know that was a misrepresentation and not accurate. But I don't know. Let's see if he has any other videos that are worth considering. Brittany Venti, oh goodness gracious. Not this fucking... This lol cow. This wannabe. Alright, let's see what other... Let's just check out one more video, because I feel like that wasn't very productive. He makes fun of Think Before You Sleep. Okay, good. Doesn't like Look Maxers. Okay, good. Hard work is overrated. Kind of, yeah. Okay, he goes against Dr. K. Interesting. That's crazy. Natural selection, yeah, I would also agree it's not natural selection. Feminism is not natural selection. If anything, it's sexual selection, which is a meaningless statement. NoFap is cringe. I would generally agree. I'm trying to see a good video. The pink pill. What the fuck? Thinking like a woman? I don't know. Okay, let's go back up. There was a video here. He's gonna crash out against Dr. K?
Actually, I have a question. Actually, I am from Germany. Why she's walking like this?
As many of you know, there's a famous doctor on YouTube whose channel is centered around giving young men life advice. He has almost 2 million followers, goes by the name Healthy Gamer GG. I had watched one of his videos months ago. Only one. Ever since YouTube won't stop recommending me his videos. And I was like, since YouTube seems so adamant that I need to check this guy out in more detail, why not do it? Who am I to deny YouTube?
Today, we're going to talk about how the ultimate Chads are actually virgins. Hey, y'all, I want to take a second to talk about
What the fuck? The ultimate chat. Oh my gosh. That's pretty cringe. I don't know.
HG coaching. And y'all may be wondering, oh my god, bruh, like, I don't want to talk about coaching. I just want to watch YouTube videos because there's a part of your brain that recognizes that you need to do better in life, but you don't actually want to invest the time and energy.
Invest time and energy? You mean...
Who's Dr. K marketing towards? That's what I want to know. Like, who is listening to Dr. K and being like, yeah, this guy's this guy's helpful. Like, who listens? He's kind of almost like a blue-pilled psychologism guru. That's the way I see him. He's like a psychologism guru. He's like Jordan Peterson if he was Indian and Zoomer. That's kind of how I interpret this individual. But
invest USD, right? Because that is what it asks for when I go to that link. It asks for USD, not energy. And you gotta love how they all use the same strategy. This is one of the things that they all have in common. Whether PUAs, whether self-proclaimed masculinity gurus like Hamza, or guys like Healthy Gamer, right? They all frame it exactly the same. Oh, sweetie, I only charge you 2,000 for your own benefit, for your own good. I only set this number so high so that you feel more invested in the program and jump in with.
which that's not how pricing works. If you're running a business, you can't just put the price because you want the customer to pay that. That's not like a legitimate reason. Like, if you're doing business, you need to have an actual reason why the product costs that much. If you're charging something that the product doesn't legitimately cost, then that is actually a problem. Like extreme markups will get people like, I don't know, it's just not okay in the business world to just say like, well, I price this for you. Like, no, the price is supposed to reflect the cost of the production of the product, along with profit margins and whatnot.
With both feet.
I don't agree that he's attuned at all.
Okay, how come?
I think he knows how to cause emotions. He does not know how to read them.
How, like what would be, is there an example that you can think of?
If
This
I
is erudite. Who the fuck is this? And who are these people, bro?
say, tell me about your childhood trauma, and you tell me the worst thing that happened to you in your entire life, and then I tell you, well, you know that 9-year-old girl is still there, and you're trying to protect her, and you burst into tears, it will look like that I could read you, but actually I'm just asking you where your wound is and sticking a knife in it.
And when you're sitting across from a woman and you feel that hopelessness, catch it.
That's a good point. I've actually seen Dr. K do this a couple times. It's like it's a psychologism like trick. It's constructing a narrative around something that wasn't really there, or I don't know. It's like an industry trick. It's like a psychology trick where you plant emotions and you plant a narrative that wasn't really there, and you kind of lead people down a specific path you want to take them. It's kind of like showmanship. It's kind of like an Indian it's a little Indian trick, you know. It's a little Buskirk kind of trick. You're like, oh, look, he found the scar, and it's not really how that actually works. So this was actually good. I've seen him do this before, where he kind of constructs this pleasant or kind of nice sounding narrative around things, but it's not really true, and it's mostly just rhetoric and like charisma. Like the way he just says it, he makes it sound true, but if you really slow down and stop and analyze it, it's not really conclusive. It's more just, it's like pushing people down a particular path.
Look at it and laugh and face.
And then when you cry, and if I'm okay with you crying, it appears that I'm okay with you crying because I'm very empathetic and making space for your feelings. Actually, I'm okay with you crying because I don't really care. I think he just knows how to push people's buttons and get you to where he needs to get you by the end of the 2-hour session, which is you were just crying, you've had an endorphin rush, you feel relieved, and now you're doing some calming breathing exercises. And of course, you're going to feel better at the end. And of course, you're going to say you feel better because you're filming a commercial. And there's immense pressure on you from thousands of people to say, well, yeah, that was good.
So what is this person's problem?
Yeah, it's like gaslighting. That's so true, actually. Unhealthy GG, yeah, that's a gamer. Healthy gamer GG is like a gaslighting guru. That is kind of what he is, actually. Now that you mention it. And you should always be skeptical of anyone that weaponizes emotions to try to make something seem true or try to present truth by weaponizing intense emotions. That like Protestants, when they do the evangelical like rolling around on the floor and like crying because they've had an experience with the Lord, that's delusion. Okay, that's spiritual delusion. That's prelest. That's a sign that the thing you're interacting with is fake, and it relies on emotionalism and these kind of intense emotions running wild to cloud your judgment. Like truth, and I've found this in Orthodoxy, it's very stoic, it's very straightforward, it's very plain, and there's a virtue to the plainness because it's not weaponizing feelings to heighten it and make it seem more true than it actually is. Roman Catholicism does this as well. It puts you in a giant cathedral and it goes, oh, look at the cathedral, look at the big marble statues, oh my gosh. And it tries to make you like think the thing is more true and grandiose than it actually is. And it tries to stir up emotions. And of course, Protestants do this all the time too. They try to say the sinner's prayer with me and pray for my friend. And they try to like make it hyper personal and hyper experiential to like, I don't know, to make you think you're having like a spiritual religious experience. But these things are tricks. A lot of them are tricks, and be very skeptical of anyone who does that, who weaponizes extreme emotions to get you on their side.
They feel unloved. Why do they feel unloved? Because of the way that people treat them. Makes sense, right? You're treated in a way that feels like it's disrespectful, so you result in feeling unloved. But the thing is, that's just your interpretation of it. Right?
Did you actually say that? That's crazy.
That's just...
So you said if you feel unloved, it's because that's your interpretation? That's actually gaslighting. That's crazy.
Your interpretation. It's a feeling. It's not actually a reality.
That's crazy.
Needless to say, I checked out the link.
So if you feel bullied, it's because that's how you interpreted it. That's actually wild. It's kind of this like like fake. It reminds me a lot like Eastern philosophy. A lot of it's just like fake, like tricks. Like a lot of Eastern Asian culture relies on like a culture of like fake presentation and like tricks, like magic tricks, like tricking people with fake displays or like fake products or fake gold or fake magic or fake royalty, like fake products, fake concrete. Like a lot of the Eastern culture and Eastern culture in general just revolves around fake stuff. And so I kind of see that again with even the Eastern spiritualism or the Eastern like psychology and the Eastern like belief systems. A lot of it is just like gaslighting yourself into thinking a certain way so that you think you've healed yourself. It's like, oh, if I just detach myself from everything, I can convince myself that I'm actually happy. I am actually happy if I detach myself from the reality that I am in. But it's just, what you're actually doing is you're just gaslighting yourself into thinking that your situation is not as bad as it actually is, which is not actually helping anything. It's just like tricks of man, right? It's like man tricking himself. It's incredibly pathetic once you actually see it.
this glorious 100% legitimate Healthy Gamer Institute. Let's take a look at how much time and energy it costs.
Let's look. $70 a session. Interesting. So he's obfuscating the price. So it's either $600 or $1,400. And he has the most popular option. He has the fake option. He has the check marks with the little... Look, check marks. Huh. Yeah, this is very like marketing guru, manipulative, highly... Yeah, manipulative scam marketing scheme right here with this little paywall thing. Like sometimes the options are fake or they're priced a certain way to get you to pick the more expensive option because it's only slightly more than the cheaper option. They're very common. Oh, most popular. Oh, this one's a specialty. It's elite. So even this you should be skeptical of.
Cheapest one. Group of 6 people, 20 sessions. So it makes $600 a month per each. These are billed monthly, by the way. 20 sessions that happen in a month. He recommends that you stay for 3 months at least to get the results you want. So there's gonna be 1,800. Then one-on-one coaching, 1,000 a month. Then career and creator one that are 1,400 each. And you gotta love the items too. Basically, they are rewarding the same thing over and over again. It says burnout in the career one, but
Yeah, just go to therapy. Like you can get subsidized therapy. You don't need to pay for some coaching program. But yeah, anyway.
named it emotional exhaustion in the creator one. Long-term change, like getting in shape, confidence, social skills. Bro, you can't teach social skills over a Discord call. What am I reading, bro? But wait, guys, wait. Check this out. The punchline. This self-proclaimed institute is a gift that keeps on giving. Pay attention here. Work with a coach. So Healthy Gamer isn't even the one interacting with his victims. Yo, HG puts Hamza to shame. Hamza, if you are watching this, take some
Whoa.
notes, brother. You
Oh, that's
shouldn't
crazy. So it's not even him. The one-on-one is not even him. That's crazy. So he has a referral. Like, that's crazy, actually. Wow.
even be in those calls. Let some underpaid oofy doofy handle that. You can frame it as, you will be attended by coaches graduated from very prestigious universities like Hamza University. You can frame it like that. Who are Healthy Gamer coaches and what do they do to help me? HG coaches are trained peer coaches that have similar personal experiences. All HG coaches hold a coaching certification.
That's such a scam. Literally says, oh, don't worry. They hold coaching certification from our own institute. Okay, so you certify your own people. Okay. I see how it is.
From either the HG Institute or another reputable coaching institute. And I love how he put
That's such a
another there
scam.
before reputable coaching institute. Dude, at this point, all these institutes and academies feel like parody, taking the piss. Coaching certificate from Healthy Gamer Institute. And the dude, the coach,
such
is
a
going to
scam.
be some underpaid student, probably younger than you, with much lesser life experience than you, and you are going to pay 1,500 for a pep talk from a 19-year-old student. Hamza, I hope you are watching this, bro. You gotta learn from this guy. You shouldn't even be in those calls yourself, where you charge each victim 700 a month, right? 1,400 every month these guys pay. Group matching. Every group is unique, shaped by each member's life experiences. Our matching feature ensures group synergy by recommending a coach who specializes in your shared goals and challenges.
That's crazy.
Jessica Bell, agency over life. In the gray.
Yeah, and I think, like, ultimately a human... Like, man cannot solve man's problems. Like, your problem is not that you need other fallible men to come and coach you. Like, really, these people are just people with a degree. These are like random degree people. These are random university people. They're not going to be able to actually fix a lot of these major issues. My view is that ultimately man's problem is not going to be something isolated like anxiety, or it's going to be something small. It's going to be something that needs, like, it's going to need God. It's going to need the church. It's going to need But anyway, I don't know. I don't want to get into all that. I don't want to yap about theology, but I just think there's a certain foolishness in appealing to. Um, I think there's a certain foolishness in thinking that random people with credentials and a degree are going to be able to solve the problems in your heart and soul. I think it's a bit foolish.
Relationships. I can't think of a better way to spend $600 a month than to be in a Discord call where I will get lectured by Cindy Gray about my relationship challenges. Nothing is separated easier than an oofy doofy and his money. Nothing. Hamza is actually better than this guy. Like, HU makes Hamza look good. At least with Hamza, he's there with you in the call, giving the pep talk to his victims himself personally. Hamza, you just got outdone by another Indian. What you gonna do about it, boy? You shouldn't even be there, bro. Let some coaches who graduated from reputable universities like Hamza University, for example, give the lectures to your victims.
So for some of us, if you're having a lot of sex, that means that you are a superior human being to other human beings. But on the flip side, that's usually men, right? So we'll sort of say, oh, like this guy is like, so he's so alpha and he's having sex with so many people. He is a better human being than I am.
No. Doesn't say anything about your humanity or anything about being smarter or being a good human. But it says that you have an advantage from a biological standpoint when it comes to passing on your genes, right? That is not something subjective, bro. That is not open to interpretation. What is open to interpretation is maybe you can say you value intelligence or being a good.
I mean, which even then you can always you can buy a surrogate. So, I mean, the idea that the only way to pass your genes on is through a Western woman. You could become passport. You could buy a surrogate, right? So I don't know. Even then, it's like, if you really want to pass on your genes, bro, you could wife up a single mother. If your only concern is I need to pass on my genes, just wife up a single mother. Just take on a 35-year-old spinstress. Right? If you're only, and so it's not enough. It's not enough for you to say, well, the thing I'm grounding it in is genetic succession. Well, even then, just wife up a single mother. If you're so desperate to have a child and carry on your genes, then wife up a single mother, bro. Yeah, it might be a retarded fish frog baby. It might be not as high quality eggs, but if you're so desperate to pass on your genes, for what reason, I don't know, but you just really need to have a kid. If that's your only goal, then just buy a surrogate or, impregnate a single mom.
Human, but women clearly and evidently do not. That is the problem.
And I kind of noticed something weird. So when I was growing up, like, I didn't get any female attention. In college, I tried to get some female attention and it went horribly.
Indian.
He's getting some flashbacks.
He has some Indian. He has some Indian trauma
from his college life. He is likely holding some grudges. Oh, that alpha is better than HG. Even if they didn't say it to his face in college, that is how he felt like. He's not dumb. He could tell the vibe.
Wait. 10 years ago, she rejected me. Now I'm the CEO of Google, and her husband is my employee. And she still isn't with you. Damn, Xavier. And the only reason you're CEO of Google is because DEI, just by the way. You didn't earn it.
There. That is why he was depressed during college and why he went to India to become a Hindu.
I mean, the other problem is you're in white country. So yeah, if you're an Indian and you live in America and you're trying to date white women in America, then you're in the wrong country, right? You shouldn't be here. You should go back to India because you know where you're not going to have to compete with white men for the women for a date. India, bro. There's tons of Indian women who are looking to date Indian men in India. Now, if you're in America, where you shouldn't be, really, you don't really belong, then yeah, you're going to struggle because people prefer their own race. That's just observed in the statistics. So you're setting yourself up to lose. And don't be bitter when the white women of America, who are probably taller than you, go for white men, right? So that's part of the black pill too. Is really just like actually it's just geography. Is like you don't belong here.
Monk. So he still probably have that bitterness inside him, despite all his financial success that came from channeling his frustration into something more financially productive. He completed the transmutation successfully, but he still has that bitterness. So in his mind, maybe you agree, in his mind, he is the superior one to all the attractive dudes who hooked up with chicks he had a crush on in college. Just because he's making more money now, he likes to believe that he's the superior one.
Some kind of like biological, like imperative kind of argument here, right? So a lot of these people are quite pseudoscientific, and they'll sort of say, well, like the purpose of human beings is to procreate. And so, like, you know, procreation is why
Wait, what? I see. Okay.
the reason that sex is so important is because it's biology. It's not us. It's not a human construction. This is what the biology wants us to all have sex. And so if we sort of think about it for...
Well, even then, that's an is-ought fallacy, because just because you have a biological proclivity doesn't justify a moral claim that you ought to act on that, or that your worldview ought to revolve around that, and you ought to construct a value system that revolves around that. So it's a fallacy.
For a second, right? A virgin who goes to a sperm bank once a week is much more biologically successful than someone who is...
Yeah, true. Good point. That's a good point. So if your goal is really genetic optimization, yeah, just become a sperm donor. Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say, is that if you're trying to prioritize that, just bang as many single mothers without protection as possible.
Getting laid all the time and pressuring all of their partners to be on birth control or get abortions.
This just shows you he isn't even capable of understanding the issue. I mean, it is tragic that I have to break this down to a Harvard-trained psychiatrist. True, you can technically have children with sperm donation as well, but there is no human element there, bro. When people say passing on your genes, they don't mean making a donation to a bank and never knowing anything about having a family. He misses the point painfully. What kind of psychiatrist is this, you might ask? I mean, this is kind of tragic because this guy is a clinical psychiatrist.
Well, no, but it actually kind of works, though, because it makes the point that black pill is not allowed to ground its value system in genetic reproduction or passing on your genes or biology, because if that was the case, if you really were just trying to optimize from a biological genetic standpoint, you would just you would do a bunch of other things. But no, you want a woman's attention, you want her validation, you want her affection, which is not the same as, well, I'm trying to pass on my genes and do what my biology is telling me to do. No, you want female attention, you want cuddles and snuggles, and you want a woman to ride your dick. You want sex, right? So don't pretend that this is some noble, scientific, biologically grounded goal of passing on your genes. No, you want sex. You want female validation. So I think it's important because red pill, or I guess black pill in this case, isn't really honest when it talks about how and what it grounds its value structure in.
Attended Harvard. Like, how did you even get in, bro? Did you write black instead of Indian or something? Like, what did you do? But it just proves my point. The institutional gaslight industry. Some shiny title from a shiny university, but the dude doesn't even know what he's talking about. Imagine being that 21-year-old suicidal dude going to this doctor, and he's telling you are the real winner here for being a virgin, being a loner, and you can be a sperm donor if it bothers you that much. Clinical professional psychiatrist, by the way. And also HG. What does your own...
Well, no, it's not saying that literally what people need. It's an internal critique. So the critique is, if you are basing your value on genetic success, if that was really true, then the most successful path you should pursue is a sperm donor. Right? So, but we obviously know that's not the case. So then the question becomes, well, what are these black pill people really trying to pursue? And a lot of the time it's just female validation, which is actually logically not the same thing as genetic success, right? So it's, because otherwise you just bang everything in sight. You just bang everything you can get your hands on, and you wouldn't be pursuing, like, it's also not really true because most men don't want like a harem. Most men are looking for like one woman. They're looking for a wife. They're looking for a family. Most men, not every man is a pickup artist sex addict. They don't all want 100 women. Like some do, some are like I want 100 women, but a lot of guys would be happy with just a wife, which is technically less successful than just banging 100 women or being a sperm donor in terms of genetic success. So what it's really based in then is just female validation, which is a social thing. It's based on like feelings. It's not based on something biological.
An example tell you. If it was indeed about the end result only, you could just buy the interaction for 100, 200. It is about the human element. It is about a loneliness that a lot of these young men are suffering from, and you are gaslighting them.
Yeah, but okay, then you just prove my point. Then it's a feeling. So the men feel lonely. They feel like they need a woman. Well, is a feeling a basis for a value system? Well, I feel this way. I feel like I want this. It's not really objective. Hungry is different because if I'm hungry, then I need food. And I objectively need food to have energy to survive and do things. Feeling lonely, well, you don't need a woman. You can have friends. You don't need a woman to have sex. You can just nut and go back to work. So you actually don't need women. And it makes the value system of a lot of the BP and even incels kind of like pointless. It's really just based in what you feel.
As if the action itself is the main problem they are complaining about. How can you help when you fail to understand what the problem is?
There must be some scientific evidence for it. And I went and I tried to find, like, okay, what does the science say about people who are not lustful or don't have sex? Like, what would change in the brain, right? So when I get curious about this stuff, I look at the science. And what I found was I couldn't find an answer. The weird thing with sex is that every part of the brain, literally every part of the brain, is involved in sex. I was trying to figure out, okay, like, if someone is celibate for a little while or they're non-lustful, which parts of the brain get freed up?
Guys, did you hear that? I looked if there's a scientific benefit to celibacy. I couldn't find anything. Then I came up with my own theory. If a dude can't get laid, he's still the superior one because all parts of the brain involved in the action. And by not indulging in that action, you are freeing up your brain. He said that with the straightest face.
Yeah, that didn't seem like a real argument.
Yo, this is the ultimate need philosophy, bro. I'ma tell this to my boss. Hey, boss, I considered joining the call, but too many parts of the brain involved in that action, in the process, I am freeing up my...
Yeah, and I'll agree. It's like, once again, a lot of the neuroscience literally is just looking at what parts of the brain activate and thinking, like extrapolating conclusions from parts of the brain that light up, which is not always going to be enough to give you a clear, coherent picture of what's going on.
My brain.
Da min kone og jeg, vi skulle have vores første barn, så fik vi også at vide, at der var 75% chance for, at han var handicappet. Og vi kunne sagtens have lært skræmme af statistik og fornuft, men vi prøvede at vælge at se positivt på det. Og når jeg ser ham løbe rundt ude i haven og spille fodbold, eller...
And start going to the gym, work on your career, do all of these things, and then attraction will come.
He's focusing too much on the symptom and not the cause. He's saying, oh, the problem is you are hyper-focused on the issue. You should worry about work. Telling young men just to focus on other stuff, there's not a very viable course of action that is gonna solve the problem. Countless single and depressed men, they go to work, they go to college. I don't even need to mention gyms. Gyms actually have more depression patients than mental hospitals themselves.
Yeah,
imagine a guy who broke his wrist comes to you, right? And you say to him, you know what, man, you are focusing too much on the wrist. That eats up your brain power, that eats up too much of your resources and willpower. You should be focusing on work.
Yeah, well, I guess the problem is you don't really need female validation. You don't need it. It's not like a broken wrist where your wrist won't work if it's broken. You can still have a plenty fulfilling life. And once again, this is all premised on if you are truly genetically cooked. I think there's a large subset of BP who are actually not that far down the pit. They're white. They're not like tiny. They're 5'8" or taller, and it's like, okay, you just have some things that need to be fixed. You just need to socialize more and clean up your look and get some grooming habits. Like you need a dad to just tell you how to groom properly and how to do your hair, you know, or like not look like a slob. So a lot of them are not too completely far down the pit. But anyway, for the men that are, it's kind of like, the way I see it is BP is asserting a genetic determinism where it's like, you are genetically cooked. There's nothing you can do. Okay, then if that's the case, stop pursuing that objective. Stop pursuing women. It's actually not necessary for your life. There are tons of other things you can do. You can have sexual release without a woman. You can have a social life with your boys without women. You can do a job. You can get a job. You can have a goal, a project, and an objective, meaning, purpose, identity without a woman, without female validation. So to me, it just seems stupid because it's like, either you can get women, in which case do what you need to do to fix yourself and get women, or you're genetically cooked and you can't, in which case there's no point whining, complaining about something that's out of your reach anyway. Just go do something else. So from my position, either, okay, there's something you can do it. If there's not, then don't think about it and do something else. You're not going to die. It's not like a broken wrist where you're like, oh, I can't use my hand now, I'm crippled. It's like, no, like, you don't need women to have a fulfilling life. Try to reorient your life around the things that you can do, right? So that's why it seems a bit pointless.
It is just condescending and not useful at all. The problems these young men face, are as real as someone who has a broken wrist. Maybe psychological and not physical, but just as real.
So what we sort of know is that there's two kinds of like...
No, I disagree. I think, like, being lonely is not the same thing as having a broken wrist. First of all, it's not broken. It's a deprivation. So it'd be more accurate to frame it as starving. You are starving. But you can starve emotionally. You can starve in terms of love and function. Plenty of men do that. Think about all the men who are in dead bedrooms, whose wives don't love them, and they still get up and do things. So I think it's probably good to try and become self-sufficient anyway without a woman. And that's kind of what people will say, where it's like, become happy without a woman, then a woman will find you. No. I'm not saying that to help you get a woman. I'm saying that, like, it's normal for a man to be lonely. It's normal for a man to starve in that way, and you can function and have a fulfilling life without drowning in pussy and female validation. It's probably good to figure out how to do that now, attractive or not, cooked or not. Like, it's a good thing to do. And I mean, think of, like, men used to go and die in wars that lasted for years without talking to women. Like, only a small percentage of men passed on their genes. So it's clearly possible for men to live an entire life without passing on their genes or having access to tons of puniti. And so it would be wise, especially if you're cooked and there's no hope either way from your point of view, it'd be wise to try and orient yourself around something different.
Pleasure or positive experiences that humans can have. One is governed by dopamine. So dopamine gives us...
Yeah, and I just don't think it's as severe as something like hunger or a broken wrist. I think it's manageable. I think you can be lonely and get up and go to work anyway. I don't think it's like, oh, I'm going to starve and I'm going to die. Oh, nobody loves me. Oh, it's just kind of gay. It's like, all right, what are you going to do about it? Like, stop being a little bitch. I don't know, right? Like, just seems kind of gay. Like, I don't know, you'll survive, like, or not, right? Or you'll be weak and you'll just die. But I don't know. I just don't think it's as severe as actual biological needs like hunger or a broken wrist.
Excitement, joy, pleasure, adrenaline, fun. And serotonin gives us contentment. We're kind of chilling, we're relaxing, I'm happy. I don't need to do anything fun because I'm just sitting by the water and I'm reading my book and I'm kind of just enjoying life, okay? As we jack up our serotonin levels, it leads to theoretically more peace and contentment, but makes it difficult to have sex. And now this is kind of really interesting, right? Because now we're sort of stumbling into something that's really kind of interesting, which is that if we are a lot of the healthy things in life, a lot of the optimal functioning that we want in life actually is inversely correlated with our sexuality.
His logic is this. Antidepressants show that the serotonin creates contentment and it is inversely correlated with libido. And therefore, having other stuff that also creates the feeling of...
Well, here's what I will say, because I kind of know where this is already going to go. Satisfying your libido or having an active libido doesn't suddenly bring you peace. It doesn't suddenly make your life better. Do you think the pickup artists like sleep at night thinking, oh, I'm so happy, I'm so content because I just got so much pussy? No. Right? So there is kind of like a merit, a truth to the monk mode where it's like, this is a passion, this is a desire that can never truly be fulfilled just by female validation and sex alone. Because it's tied to your, I don't know, your dopamine receptors, and it can function like an addiction. You can become addicted to sex. And what am I trying to say exactly? I'm trying to say that it's not something that once you just get enough of, you're going to be content and satisfied and your life's going to be suddenly better, right? It's not good to starve, but it's also like having a bunch of it isn't going to suddenly make you feel at peace and make you feel fulfilled. You're not going to feel fulfilled in life just because you suddenly got some pussy.
Of contentment are also inversely correlated with libido. Therefore, being successful in life is inversely correlated with libido. What is this cope, bro? I mean, this is the holy mother of deductive cope. And again, needless to say, he's focusing too much on the physical aspect of it. It is more about being able to get it, having access to it, having that emotional side of it than the action itself.
It's not the outside stuff that we necessarily need to be free from. That if you can be free from the things in here, then you will have true freedom and bliss and all kinds of other stuff.
He's
basically just talking like a Buddhist, like detach yourself, bro. Try to see this is a need, but this is bad. You got to learn to detach yourself from this need. Yeah, it is kind of dumb, right? Like man and women are made for each other. You do want that emotional bond. Like I get that. So I wouldn't really agree with Dr. K per se. I don't know. I just don't think it's the end of the world.
Basically running a cheap knockoff version of Hindu monk
exactly.
philosophy. You know, of all that turn to inner self, stop thinking about your problems and all that mambo jumbo.
Let's say I go through a breakup. This is a fact. And since there's a breakup, my body has all kinds of physiological attachments. There's less oxytocin. Maybe I get a drop in my serotonin level. All kinds of stuff is happening to me physically and emotionally. But whether I'm happy or not after the breakup depends on my thoughts. So if after the breakup I start to think to myself, oh my God, I'll be alone forever. My partner will be able to move on because they're better looking and everyone is interested in them, but I'm such a POS and no one's ever going to want me. Those thoughts are going to keep us in a very unhappy place.
That is also a fact.
There's more bad philosophy, the idea that like your thoughts are what determine your reality. I think your thoughts are more reflective of your inner reality. If you think you're a piece of shit, it's because you are a piece of shit. It could be because you are a piece of shit. Like, so it has less to do with if you can just control the way you look at a situation, bro, and change your thoughts and just change your positivity, your mindset, man. That's also not the answer too, because a lot of the time your thoughts, they can be harmful and they can spiral out of control and lie to you. You can have negative cycles and spirals. But a lot of the time they are just reflecting a current reality. And so you kind of need to fix the current reality and then maybe the thoughts. Like, so I don't think it's as simple as just, well, it's only this way because you're thinking like this, which he's exhibiting a pattern now.
Fact. Yes, you breaking up with your partner is a fact, but it is also a fact that she has a much higher SMV and will find another guy before you can even blink. A better looking dude as well, since hypergamy is also a fact. You can't ignore the facts on the ground, bro. Meanwhile, we will go straight back to that dating circus, go through the dating ringer again.
This is kind of gay. I don't like this about the black pill, where they tend to be really obsessed with like the doom and gloom of the situation. She's gonna date another guy and he's gonna be so much better than you because you're a loser, and women and just have so many options. It's like, okay, dude, like, do you need to really, like, do you get off to this? Like, I think a lot of the black pill gets off to like, oh, and he's so much taller than me and he's so handsome and he just had everything in life given to him. It's like, even if that was true, it's just really gay to like jerk yourself off with this like sob story and like humiliate yourself. It's just really gay.
Sub 5 male. There is also a fact. Oh, how to think your way to happiness. Just ignore the reality and think positively. If you think differently in your head, the objective reality will also be different. What are you spewing, bro? I mean, if this guy is like this, imagine what his coaches are like.
Christoffer, det er Adam. Adam, det er Christoffer. Han er jo lam. Hvad sagde den?
The sequence of events that lead to unhappiness start with thoughts.
No, it doesn't. Thoughts are the effect, not the cause. They don't form on their own. They are the dependent variable in this model, not the independent variable, because that thought is stemming from the past experiences and observations, brother. They didn't form on their own overnight. Oh no, I will be alone for a long time, cause he has been through that dating ringer before. He has been through the dating circus. He has observed the effects of being sub 5 and or low status. It is more of a reflex than thought. It is a reflex, bro. His categorization is wrong to begin with. It is not a thought. It is a reflex, just like how you know not to touch a hot stove, because you know from experience that it is gonna bring pain otherwise.
I would say they're both wrong here. I think he's right in criticizing Healthy Gamer GGD that thoughts are not purely like independent. They're not something you can just completely control, and then the thoughts are just completely free and arbitrary, and you can just have positive thoughts and that will make you not unhappy about your breakup. I think that's a bit absurd, but I also don't think they're completely determined things. I think the way I would probably say it is like there's like a list of valid thoughts that you can choose. That's kind of my model I would work with, is like, yeah, you can't just think anything. You can't just be like, oh, my woman broke up with me, but I'm gonna be positive and I may be alone and unhappy. But I think it's more like you can choose to navigate and focus on specific things, and you can choose to focus on the like depressing thoughts, the depressing reality, because I think thoughts are based in reality, but I think there's different layers going on at the same time. There's a reality where it's like, yeah, you can focus on how she doesn't love you anymore or whatever, or you can focus on like what comes next, which is also a reality. So the way I would, my model for how thoughts work would be something like, thoughts are a conceptualization of realities, and you can focus on different types of realities. You can conceptualize and emphasize, concern yourself with different aspects of your reality. You can think about the past and how it sucked, or you can think about the future, which is a reality that you have to concern yourself with, and you can think about the future and plan for that and work around that and organize your thoughts around that. So I guess I disagree with both, because I think the reason Rehab Room's saying that is a way to justify the depressive mindset of the BP. Is they say, well, the reason I'm depressed is because it's just a logical conclusion of being a sub 5, and if I'm wailing and depressed, that's not in my control, and it's just a product of my position in life. And I don't really think that's true either. It's kind of a depressing mindset anyway. It's kind of disgusting.
So what usually happens is I have a thought. So the cognitive thought happens first. And following the thought is an affective change, which means an emotional response. So I will think to myself, oh no, I'm going to be alone after this breakup. And the second I have that thought, I will feel an emotional reaction. That thought will bring the sadness out. And if you pay attention to your
I think that's a big point, actually. I'm thinking about that now. Because that could be a big reason why the black pill is so disgusting and pathetic, is because if they believe that their thoughts are genetically determined, so they actually would believe that being black pill and their outlook, not just like working hard, but they would think that their own thoughts and beliefs are genetically determined. So the reason they're black pill is actually a product of their genetics, that it's just a logical extension of their position and circumstance as sub fives or whatever. So how would I disprove this? Well, okay, here's the problem. There's a philosophical angle I can go to make an internal critique, which would be that if your thoughts are not teleological, if they are the products of cause and effect, then there is no truth. Then your thoughts are not teleologically oriented at truth, and therefore they're not true. Basically, if it's determined by factors outside of your control, then your worldview is out of your control, and therefore it can't be true, because it's just determined by things that are out of your control. You lose categories of true and false within a worldview, and instead you just have worldviews that just are. So there's no real system to say that you as a black pill are correct, or someone that's blue pill or red pill is correct, because both of you just have a series of worldviews which you both arrived at accidentally due to your circumstance. So what makes you more right than him? You're only black pill because you're a depressed sub 5. He's only a red pill because he's a 6 out of 10 with a chance. And they're only blue pill because they're a 9 out of 10 and they can afford to. So you've destroyed the categories of true and false by erasing teleology, which is purpose, by reducing thoughts to a determined genetic effect. So that's kind of the route I would go, is that you, from a philosophical level, you destroy categories of true and false. So agency and free will in thinking and thoughts, propositions, beliefs, attitudes, positions, worldviews has to have agency, because if it's not, then you can't choose the true. You can't pursue the categories of true. And really you can't even reason. There's no such thing as reason. There's just a process. There's a biological, chemical process of cause and effect, where the thought that you have right now is just an effect of another thought or circumstance. It's not reasoned. It's not rational. It's not according to the rules of logic. It's according to the events and phenomenon that interact and impose themselves upon your brain. And so that would destroy knowledge and destroy truth if you had this determinist position for thinking itself and positions. So that would be my counter to the black pill. If he is it sounds like he's positing that, and that would make a lot of sense why they have the worldview they do, because anytime you critique it and say, well, that just seems gross, that seems anti-masculine, that seems pathetic, they'd say, well, I can't really control it because it's genetically determined, just like my ability to work hard or my ability to, I don't know, like be conscientious or entrepreneurial.
Your own experience, you'll find that usually negative thoughts start first, and then they will activate emotions, and then the emotions will spur more thought.
I mean, that's a fallacy too. Just because something comes before another thing does not mean it caused it. Right? So, I don't know, the sound of the visual cue of lightning comes before the sound. Does that mean that the visual causes the sound? No, the lightning causes the visual and the sound together, but the visual doesn't cause the sound, right? What's another one? I might see, let me think. I might see a flash of light before a bomb dropping. Does that mean the flash of light caused the bomb to drop? No. Right? Just because something precedes something doesn't actually mean that it has causal, doesn't mean it's causing the other thing.
Thoughts.
Okay, now I actually question if this guy really is a clinical psychiatrist, like he claims to be. Where did you get that degree, brother? Hamza University or something like? No way it is Harvard. I refuse to believe that. The root of mental illnesses are in fact not taught, but external causes like childhood trauma, parental abuse, or genetic makeup and heritage. Actually, the latest and more airtight studies support this as well. Mental illnesses are more closely associated with heredity than previously thought. I will make a separate video about it later. There is a topic for another video, but what he said is objectively false. And I know what you're gonna say. Oh, Rehab, he has a degree from Harvard. What are you saying, bro? I don't care. I don't care which institution he has a degree from. It just shows you how used.
I mean, Harvard is producing all these like left-wing intellectual nut jobs, so that's also just credentialism, arguing from authority, or because someone has a certain credential that makes their argument true.
Those degrees can be. Case in point.
Din søn er spasser. Din kone tog sit eget liv. Din mor døde og blev født. Og din far voldtog dig og din søster.
So thought, emotion, more thoughts that we can't break out of, mental illness.
More like cause first, then reflexive emotional response. After the initial reflexive reaction, you contemplate to figure out what happened, which is the thought process. The cause, for example, was you touching the hot stove. Then that event is immediately followed by you crying in pain, sitting on your behind and feeling sorry. Reflexive emotional response. Then after that, you contemplate on it and come to a conclusion that you shouldn't touch a hot stove, which is the final process, thought process. Then from there, depending on the severity of the cause and depending on the individual, it can lead to mental illnesses or not. But one thing is for sure, thought is not the first step. It is not. But the point is this, unless you fix the first step that triggers the whole chain reaction, you can't fix the final effect. For example, if you have a very recessed chin and a very big nose, unless you fix that problem, you will keep getting negative feedback. No matter how much you self-talk positively, no matter how much you think you have a great face, thinking positive won't save you. A rhinoplasty and genuine...
Yeah, so once again, I disagree. I mean, I already kind of stated it. I disagree with this determinist cause and effect model where thoughts are and reactions are and actions are reduced to a series of determined cause and effects. I disagree with that because I have a different anthropology for the human being, different metaphysic. And then what else? I think too, like, it's holistic. So I think cause and effect definitely exists, but rarely ever is it like one thing interacts on another thing. Like the analogy of like bowling balls hitting one another doesn't really work in reality, because in reality there's a slew of things that are all co-interacting, co-causes and effects all at the same time. So it's more like a holistic web. So in an example, maybe he might give the example of you have a deficient chin and your nose is too big, so that leads you to not get women and therefore you're miserable. It's like, okay, well, it's kind of actually more holistic than that. Actually, your parent has a certain psychology, and so that makes them less attractive. So then the partner that they get is actually less physically attractive, and that leads to your genetic deficiencies, which actually leads you to kind of get rejected in middle school. And so you don't socialize with the kids in middle school as well, which means that you have less social skills and lower self-esteem, which actually makes it harder for you to get friends. You don't have any friends, and so you think your chin is the problem, but it's actually you have inherited mental illness from your parents, and you didn't get socialized well enough when you were younger, and now you just have this habit of like having an extremely negative reaction. You haven't learned to regulate your emotions or engage in, I don't know, pro-social, pro-functional behavior that increases your mental health.
Neoplastic combination, however, will.
But my point being that it's like holistic. It's like there's like everything kind of comes in together to fuck you over or create your circumstance. There's a multiplicity of variables that come in to create a circumstance. It's not usually just reducible to like, oh, my chin is the reason I'm not getting women. It's reductivist.
That is the difference.
Der er noget, du skal vide. Christoffer har lige været igennem en meget lang og hård influenza, og jeg skal være den første til at indrømme, at han ikke har været helt på dupperne i denne uge.
And so, how do we fix this situation? It turns out that we've got one really interesting option. I think the yogis did a really fantastic job of figuring out how to cultivate the right thoughts. So they came up with this practice called mantra or mantra. If you look at some of these old texts on mantra, what you'll find is that the yogis will say any mantra that's chanted, if it is whispered under your breath, the power of the mantra increases tenfold.
This guy actually reminds me of Hamza. This whole shenanigans of repeating to yourself in front of a mirror, I am Adonis, girls love me, girls love me. This whole think it into existence cop.
We can reprogram our mind to stop being needy and almost, in a silly way, make ourselves believe that we have so many women into us, which is as simple as literally just sit down and just say, I am Adonis. Women want to get with me. Women love spending time with me. I'm so attractive. I'm so funny. I'm so flirtatious.
I mean, there is nothing wrong
That's
with
crazy.
trying to...
Gosh, now I have to fucking address this. Yeah, it's ridiculous to think that simply on its own, gaslighting yourself or telling yourself, you know, that you are a thing that you're not is going to change reality, right? But once again, it is holistic, where it's like having a positive outlook or having a good mental state can actually lead to better things. It's not going to make you suddenly attractive, but it might improve something minimally. It could snowball into something. There is merit to the idea that fake it until you make it. Because I don't know, you might take opportunities that you wouldn't have taken otherwise. You might engage in more risk taking, which might actually pay off. Like there are, because it's a holistic environment, that if you improve this area of like trying to rewire your psychology to be more positive or whatever. And I think generally, speaking things does have a power to rewire your internal psychology. Like I think if you say something repeatedly, it does actually have an effect. Advertising knows this, because the strategy for advertising is to bombard your psyche with repetition and slogans. That's all intentional as a way to not get you to buy their product through convincing argument, but to break down your psychological walls and barriers through repetition. And I think chants and magic spells take advantage of that. I think they're based a lot in the idea that words do have a certain potency to, once actualized, to actually rewire your psychology. So I think that's kind of true. I don't know if it's like the end all be all. I don't think it's always going to work or that it can do drastic things, but I think getting caught in negative thought loops is definitely real. And if you can break that could have a degree of effect, right? could have some effect. I don't know exactly if it's going to fix everything, but could help at least a little. So yeah, I'll agree. Like mostly this is dumb. Like I don't think repeating something to yourself is going to be enough to actually do anything or fix stuff. But I will say, if you can disrupt negative thought loops, I think that's powerful. I think if you can like whenever there's an advertisement, I turn the volume off or skip it. But if I have to listen to an advertisement, I'll turn the volume off, because I think the forces of evil definitely know that they can use negative thought loops and repeated verbiage to abuse your psyche, and I think that's definitely real. And if you can break if you're a person who has negative thought loops and has low self-esteem, and you're constantly bashing yourself over the head with certain loops, certain thoughts, then I think breaking that could get rid of a big barrier that that's in your way. It's not going to fix everything, but it's one of the domains, the psychological, that you can help conquer, right? You're not going to suddenly fix your success with women, but like fixing and retaking the psychological domain is powerful. And as a Christian, like I would say that saying the name of God, the Trinity, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, like that is powerful. Like there is legitimate power in those kinds of words, because ultimately the referent, which they point to, God, is powerful, right? So, and I think we know this to be true because even saying like demonic, dark, twisted things, we know there's something like off-putting. Like even if it's only words, we know there's like, okay, you shouldn't say that. Like you shouldn't even entertain certain ideas. Like we kind of instinctively know that when you say certain things or start to entertain certain thoughts, that it can become dark and they could lead to actualization. So but yeah, I don't think it's going to solve your problem. It's not actually going to fix anything. It's not actually going to do the work. You still have to do the work. But it is one domain that's worth conquering, which is the psychological. So yeah, I'm kind of mixed. I'm half and half. But I think, yeah, like if someone like Dr. K is selling this as like a legitimate solution to your problems, this will fix your problems, guys. Just have a positive outlook. Then yeah, that's kind of retarded.
See the glass half full, trying to be positive, but you gotta be realistic at the same time. The glass still needs to be half full. What they do is seeing the glass half full when the glass is completely empty. If you go do that Hindu practice while ignoring the realities, maybe what HG...
Yeah, good point. And what what Hamza was saying was retarded. Like if you're just gonna lie to yourself and be like, I am beautiful, I am attractive, I'm funny when you're not, that's a stupid way to go about it. You do have to be grounded in reality, but think like a positive, realistic vision forward. I think that's the responsible, appropriate approach. Is like, don't think about all the bad stuff. Try not to think about all the failures. Try not to think about all the things that are going against you. Try to think about what you can do to improve it right now, what you have going for you, the plays you can make today and tomorrow, the progress you can make now. Like, to me, that's kind of more how free will works. Is not, you can think anything, but you can choose what you want to focus on. If you want to focus on the past and the negativity and how you're being screwed over, you can dwell in that and stay in that, or you can move forward and not think about the mistakes, not think about what could go wrong. Try to just do the next thing that you can do to make your life better, the next right thing. And I think that is power, so I think that's valuable. But yeah, you can't just like gaslight yourself and say, oh, I'm beautiful, I'm perfect, I'm so funny.
Says might help you feel better in the short term, while you are still paying for his coaching sessions. The coaching sessions where he's not even present at, by the way. It might make you feel happier while you are paying for his sessions, but it will set you up for much bigger disappointments in the long term. Just because you are done with the truth doesn't mean it is done with you, which is all Healthy Gamer cares about, of course. For long as you stay a customer. After that, you are useless to him. Then he can gaslight you. Then he can say, oh, you only stayed in the program for 2 months, man. That was your mistake. You should have stayed at least 6 months. Oh, you didn't work hard enough. You didn't grind enough. Oh, you didn't learn to be happy with nothing. You are still slave to your desires. It is your fault. You couldn't learn to be happy in absolute misery and live like a Hindu monk. And I know what some of you say. Oh, Rehab, I will just change my thoughts. I am done with it, bro. Cool, but it isn't done with you. That is the problem, brother. That is the problem. Mr. Reaper is the sweetest lander in the entire world. The sweetest and kindest.
Yeah, I'll agree. Like a lot of Indian philosophy, like detach yourself from your emotions. Oh wait, no, that's Chinese. You need to detach yourself from your emotions. They're controlling you. The reason you're miserable is not because your streets are full of shit everywhere and there is garbage in your river. The problem is that you are simply too negative. You are too attached to your emotions. That was my Indian impression. What do you guys think? Uh, yeah, I think most of it's cope. I think a lot of it's cope. Um, and yeah, you should use it in a constructive way. I think that's kind of what I was trying to get at. A little bit of rambling, but what I was trying to get at is that you should use the positive psychology and positive thinking to do positive things, to like use the positive headspace not to gaslight yourself and to lie that you're in a better situation than you are, but to motivate you to do more positive things and to change your situation, because otherwise you can get stuck in a negative thought loop, regress where you're just constantly thinking about how bad your life is and you're not aspiring towards improvement, right? So that's kind of more my mindset about it.
The slander there is, cause it is just too easy and convenient to ignore the ugly truth and act like it isn't there. It is the convenient thing to do, but he is also the most brutal collector you will ever see. Every attempt to change your thoughts without changing the facts on the ground first will incur a debt to the BP, and that debt is always paid, sooner or later. But sure, while you are paying for his self-proclaimed coaches, you might feel better. I am not denying that.
When someone has schizophrenia, the thoughts in their head become a reality.
Yo, what is this guy saying? No, schizophrenic thoughts don't become reality. Thoughts maybe become real in Shizo's mind, but sure as hell they don't become reality. What are you saying, man? That is why they are called schizophrenics in the first place. But hey, you know, at least he admits what he encourages, what Hamza and him encourage their victims to do. Basically become schizophrenic, cause that is literally it. Textbook definition, bro. Hamza and HG tell you to be schizophrenic. Appreciate it, HG. At least you made it easy for me by admitting to it.
Du skal bare vide op dit syge lille hoved, ikke? At det er Gud. Djævlen har ikke brugt så meget som 2 sekunder på dig.
The truth.
Men du er bare så tykhoved, at du ikke kan fatte det.
True.
In schizophrenia, the thoughts that they have are very shaping for their lives. Now, here's the wild thing. People with schizophrenia sub-vocalize all the time.
Yo, this is actually kind of unhinged. This is getting concerning, guys. I was joking before, but I am not now. Cause he's literally telling his victims to be schizophrenics. Oh,
Yeah,
you
wait,
know,
what?
schizos whisper to themselves as well, bro. Yeah, no shit, they are mentally sick, they are mentally ill people. Of course schizos talk to themselves out loud. Even children know this. Oh, brother, you are gonna repeat out loud 100 times, I am Adonis, I am Adonis, I am Adonis.
That is crazy.
Just because schizos believe in it doesn't make it a reality. Mind-blowing stuff, bro. What is this guy saying? I was joking before. I was joking when I said, did you get that degree from Hamza University? But I am not. I am not so sure anymore, bro. HG, bro, are you sure you are not employing this genius idea yourself? What are the chances this guy followed his own advice and convinced himself that some online certificate he got from Coursera or something is actually a Harvard degree? At this point, after what I have watched, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, I am not even trying to be funny. This is too disturbing to be a joke.
So I know it sounds insane, but it turns out that our thoughts are actually the source of our happiness. The very first thing that happens is a thought, which then triggers an emotion, which then...
Yeah, that doesn't follow. That doesn't logically follow. Your happiness is determined by thoughts. That doesn't follow. Just because thoughts exist or proceed. But I mean, there's plenty of like emotions that happen without thoughts or conscious thoughts. So how would you explain that? If thoughts are the thing that determine your happiness and emotions, then how about all the times that you feel something without a logical, conscious thought that precedes it? Right? So this is dumb. It's disprovable in like 3 seconds.
and triggers a thought loop, which then leads to mental illness.
It is insane. It doesn't sound insane. It is insane, bro. Your advice is literally becoming schizophrenic to be happy. This is the channel YouTube has been spam recommending me. You gotta be joking, bro. This dude is dealing with a lot of sad and broken men. The truth is, there is not something they can fix by whispering to themselves in front of a mirror or think it into existence. The facts on the ground are these. Feminism has rendered the average man useless, but that ain't even the biggest problem. The issue here is expectation.
I mean, useless from like women and like hypergamous 18-year-old women standards. But is that really, is that how God sees you? Is that how you should see yourself? Is that how men see each other? Do men look at each other and go, "Oh, you're a sub 5, you're useless, you're human trash"? Like, no. So, once again, it's just assuming that women's standards are the universal value system for all men everywhere, and it's unquestionable.
For men didn't change along with feminism. That is the bigger problem. Reality on the ground for men changed very drastically since the 50s, where women didn't work, real wages were higher, sub 5 men were able to have families as long as they worked at the factory, right? Divorce rates weren't as high. Cheating was not as easy for women. Women couldn't freely divorce their oofy-doofy husbands that they despised, so on and so forth. But the point is this: the facts on the ground changed, but expectations on men didn't change. Not only they didn't change, but increased actually. You are still expected to make significantly more than your wife and cover for expenses. Now you are expected...
True, that is a good point actually. I've never even thought about that framing, but apparently we threw away traditionalism, and yet men are held to traditionalism more than they were in the past. You're expected to make more money, be more dominant, be more alpha, be more masculine, be more attractive. Like, your grandfather didn't have to fucking do any of that.
To have the looks as well. So a lot of young men are broken. They are obviously not wanted for their looks, cause their fathers were not either, except their fathers could actually have a family, just cause he worked at the factory. The oofy-doofy that, with a 95 IQ, nothing special. There is the life script for a lot of guys, and they don't have the mental strength to deal with it, so they fall victim to guys like Healthy Gamer. Guys like Healthy Gamer, even if they have good intentions, what they do often doesn't go beyond unintentional gaslighting, because this isn't something you can fix with a Discord pep talk hyping them up. Oh, imposter syndrome, oh, have confidence, brother. You are gonna think positively, think your way to success. Oh, start whispering to yourself in front of a mirror. Useless advice, bro. Because even if they have good intentions, boomers and outliers can't even grasp the problem, as I mentioned earlier in the video. HG, brother, I will say this: I hope your Cindergray does a better job than you, cause charging $1,400 a month for this is a borderline criminal activity. His advice is to become schizophrenic. And my advice is, let the reality guide you. The objective reality, not the reality in a schizo's mind. The choice is up to you. Don't be a free agent in life.
Gud, han hader os, Christoffer. Det har han altid gjort.
No, he does not. That's a lie. Right, let me quit. Okay, anyway, so yeah, I would generally agree. My take on Dr. K is that, like, psychology, you know, like the therapy culture is not going to help you. General academic liberalism is not going to help you. Indian, like, mantra, monk, Hindu, chakra, disassociation and detachment philosophy is not going to help you. And ultimately, these are the foolish and frail solutions, attempts at solutions, the snake oil of men, falling men who do not have the answer, who do not have eternal life, who do not have the solution to man's problems. And the solutions and man's problems are not just he can't get female attention or validation. I think Rehab Room and a lot of the Black Pill reduce man's problems to, oh, the women aren't giving me attention. Like, that can be kind of part of a problem, but I don't think it's reducible to that. I think you can go find meaning elsewhere and still have a plenty happy, peaceful, fulfilling, fun-filled life without chasing women. And yeah, I think ultimately, from my position, the solution has to be the church, has to be something divine, has to be God. Can't just be another man-made, invented, fake solution, you know? So I think Dr. K kind of represents that, you know, Hindu detachment, but also mixed with a little bit of liberal psychologism from his training and his academic background. So yeah, he's not an effective answer. He's not actually going to be able to help young men in a very meaningful way because of what he is offering, which is not substantive. And I would also say that this rehab room guy, having watched 2 videos now, he has some decent critiques, but I think like his framing, the big things I've noticed is that he tends to reduce human beings to their SMV, or like what women think of them. I think that's a pretty low position. He thinks thoughts are genetically determined, which I've showed why that would make that would be self-defeating for knowledge from a philosophical point of view. I think him not picking up that, not really understanding chronic, and not understanding that to say that the gym doesn't work when you haven't actually done the work and gone to the gym is hypocritical and pathetic. And I think in general the BP revolves its entire value system around what women want, which is arbitrary. Ultimately, it's arbitrary. A desire for emotional connection, or a desire for women, or a desire for female validation is not actually an argument or an actual grounding for a ethical value system. It's not enough to just say, well, I want sex, therefore I should create my entire moral system around how to get sex. And if you can get sex, you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or more, then you're a good person, or you're high value. And if you're below that, you're low value and you're miserable, right? Because he just projected misery onto men who were, you know, not getting a bunch of women. So yeah, I don't know. So I think that's generally my critique, is it just seems to be kind of reductivist, and it's making some worldview philosophical mistakes. And he seems to just be kind of representing what I would have expected from someone like him either way. Yeah, I think Chronic's take was good. Like, I was kind of worried he might cherry pick something silly Chronic said, but no, it was Chronic made a good point. I don't even disagree there. And I think generally it's like, my take is it's kind of pathetic to orient yourself around what women want and my SMV, and I don't get puniti, so therefore my life's miserable. It's just kind of a stupid worldview. I think it needs to be grounded in something more purposeful and meaningful, and it's not worth complaining or whining about, especially if it's a done deal. Like, if you're supposed to be this determinist who thinks genetics determines hard work, and it determines your thoughts and determines your looks, then if you are actually cooked, if and that's a determined thing, then there's no point constantly orbiting it. And like if this is a game you can't win, then stop playing the game, right? Like, if you really are like a 5'2" Indian and you're just fucked, then pursue something else. Like, build your worldview around something else, discuss something else. Isn't it a case closed? Like, I'm not getting women, case closed. What's even there to talk about? What's even worth discussing for you in your life at that point? I don't know. I mean, you can talk about it, but it just seems not productive. And I think it seems to be a lot of wallowing. So I don't know. I don't respect it on that level. I think that's why, like, most red pill MGTOW don't really respect, people in general don't really respect the black pill, is just because it's kind of anti-masculine. It's not a respectable worldview. So that's my take on it. Let me know what you think. This is a bit of a longer one because I wanted to watch a second video to get his perspective, but Yeah. I mean, I would be down to chat if Rehab Room is a individual who would like to chat and he's open to personal discussion. I'd be down for that. Maybe he can clarify some things. Maybe I can posit my objections. I'm not mad. I don't think he's a bad person or hate him or Black Pill, but I just think they make some worldview mistakes. I'm looking at it as a worldview philosophy type perspective, and I'm trying to bridge the gap between someone from the Black Pill and someone like Chronic, and try to explain why people like Chronic might disagree with the Black Pill and why that would make sense for them to do that, and why I might even agree with their take on the Black Pill. But anyway, he made a good point about like Hamza being retarded and pickup artists being retarded and healthy gamer GG being kind of useless. Like, yeah, I think that's true. I also don't think that really makes his worldview true just because he's able to point out frauds and suits. I think that's kind of like easy to do. I think that's low hanging fruit. It's like, I'm against feminism. Oh, holy shit. Are you a Nazi or are you like a neocon? like what are you? I have no clue who you are. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like annoying too because there seems to be a lot of like cope from the Black Pill where they can, if anytime you make an argument, they can just hand wave your argument with an ad hom. They can just say, well, you're just coping. Okay, well, like, so you're just gonna ignore the substance of what someone's saying and just go straight for like a personal attack, which is like, you're just coping because you're a sub 5, or this is sour grapes, or you're just ignoring this, or you're an incel. Like, it's like you can't have an actual discussion with these people because they're not using logic. They're just they're just too committed to this depressive mindset, this depressed mind state, and kind of the self-pitying. They're too obsessed with that to actually realize that they might be wrong, right? So, and I noticed that there's defense mechanisms, protective, like unfalsifiability tactics by like projecting intent onto people who disagree. Like the Marxists do this all the time, where they'll be like, oh, you're just saying that because you're part of the protected class, you're part of the privileged class, you're trying to just protect your side. And it's like, no, I'm just making an argument. Like, it has nothing to do with who says the argument. It would still be true even if a proletariat person said the exact same argument. Would that suddenly make it true just because it's coming from a different person? No, that's an ad hominem. So but anyway, so let me know what you guys think. I will try to produce a little more videos. Definitive win for Chronic, a bit of an L for Rehab, but he won some points back for some low-hanging fruit. But with that, I'm going to head out. So let me know what your comments are. Even if you hate me, you think I'm a bad person, you think I'm mean, go ahead. Honestly, I do not care.